Hey guys, welcome to the show. If you'd like to support this channel, there are info box below. Hope you like the intro. That is the BALLBUSTERS intro. Here until I get a new intro. Hope you enjoyed it. Got a bang up show for you today. We're going to be going over Trainwreck BALLBUSTERS arguments. Going to give you the ammunition and just shoot them right out of the sky. Go back to cutting the lawn. What do you think about that? Right.
More chores?
More chores.
What happened to the old intro? Epic.
Yeah.
What happened?
Yeah. Somebody's been slacking. Ain't gonna mention any names, but we'll try to hook that up for the next time. We'll see how it goes. Not a big deal. So what's up, BALLBUSTERS? BALLBUSTERS, activate. Look, Arwen.
Hello. Good evening.
What's going on
Doing
over there
good.
in the Netherlands?
Oh yeah, it's nice weather now, and just spring. Plants are getting plenty of rain. Staying green, keep flowering, and yeah, all is good over here.
Outstanding. Thank you. Chocolate.
Hello.
How is it down there in
Going on,
North
people?
Kakalaki?
North Kakalaki, yeah. Beautiful, man. It's a beautiful day out in North Kakalaki. Yeah, man. It's good to be here.
Good to have you. Stay motivated. Betty,
Yo!
how's it going over there in the Netherlands also? What is it, raining where you're at?
No, it's beautiful sunshine. It's quite bright. It began cloudy, but now it's bright. So, yeah. Good.
Why do we always go over the weather in the beginning?
Because the Dutch and the weather go together. This rhymes.
Yeah. Nathan Oakley, sir.
How you doing? Good to be here.
How's the weather, man?
Who cares? The world's locked down and it's still obviously and observably flat.
How can you observe that when you are locked down?
Still got windows. I still do go outside.
Okay. Okay, sir.
Who cares what the what? Yeah, I know. I feel the same. I'm getting in that rut. Hey, how's it going? Well, we're from different places, so it's always good to get a feel what's going on there. Yeah, because the weather, man, it contributes to your attitude, your well-being. So it is kind of important.
Come on, this gives like an international feel.
It does.
To it.
It surely
Yeah.
does. Yep, I agree. That's why I do it. What else we gonna talk about?
And then sometimes you gotta ask, how do we have weather in the first place? We're on a ball in a vacuum,
Ooh,
right?
container?
Very good question.
Down.
Fall down, go boom, boom, go splash.
Mostly
down.
down.
So the effect of gravity is the container.
All right,
That's
what do
gonna
we
be
got
difficult.
here? Got some empty time. Come on, you need to fill it, guys. Go get motivated.
Well, you trained us kind of well today, so.
My name's Scott Veach. A force equals WC, walls of the container.
Yes. Force
No.
equals
No,
Whiskey
force.
Charlie. Walls of the container. That's
Uh-oh.
from M Scott Veach. And then we have Zanuck. Force equals Victor or V. Force equals valve. So that's what we got. I don't know what to say about that.
Wait, what do you mean? Which force? The force that causes the force, or just the force itself?
Yeah, it's just the force.
Just the force.
And
It's not the force that's not a force.
Yeah, surprisingly, that's not one of the arguments today because we deal exclusively with gravity. So I'm just going to deal with certain arguments, but surprisingly, maybe it's a good break that gravity isn't part of it today. But that's all right. Well, we're going to still have a little bit of fun.
But just for the audience's benefit, so to quote Brian Cox, there's not really a force of gravity at all, end quote. Or to quote George Musa, gravity is not a force, but you can think of it as a force, end quote.
Those are cherry picked, Nathan.
Those are direct quotes in context.
I've been charged with cherry picking twice this morning. Not with those.
Okay.
Not with those particular.
We're all going nuts. Okay, I was over at Jose's earlier today, and it's just like it's like going into hell now. Like they've all become so delusional and uptight and stressed out from everything that they're just unusually hostile. It's almost like you're surrounded by little goblins and demons now, and they got really nasty for no reason. And like I wasn't even trying to be mean, and they just kept on. What the hell's going on here? They're going nuts.
That's them sharing their pain with you, Arwen.
There's a lot of pain being shared. I've seen a lot in Discord the past couple days, and what it's come down, they've been doing this for a long time now, but I've been noticing it recently, is they just give ambiguous, they give their... Mike, discipline, please. That's you, Arwen. Thank you. They just give their ambiguous color commentaries about the situation. That's what it's come down to now. I just sit back and what are you talking about? We don't want to hear your color commentaries, right? We want to hear your scientific evidence for your spinning ball space monkey religion. We don't care what your take on the community is, right? I don't want your color commentary, boneheads, right? It's time to start getting down, giving us some cowbell for your religion, because you're religious. And the reason why you're giving us your ambiguous color commentaries is because you don't got anything. We don't want to hear them. We don't want to hear retards color commentaries, all right? I start hearing them, I start getting specific, highly specific. So, gravity, which gravity are you talking about? Yeah. So, flat earthers, when you hear them give their incoherent, ambiguous color commentaries, get them right down to business real quick. Okay? That's my thoughts on the matter. Anyone else?
They say when they don't have an argument to give, they're going to make small talk about, for example, why people talk over you. When you've got a guy up against the wall like I had the other week on the debate, this week actually, and you're saying, how can you have gas pressure without a container? There's a short pause, and then, you know why people interrupt you all the time? In other words, much easier to discuss the whys and wherefores of the show, the format, rather than answer the question that absolutely annihilates a fundamentalist religious belief that the sky is a vacuum.
Yes, sir. I heard that. That was pretty funny. Yeah. Oh, how? I think you should run your show differently. That's something like that. Yeah. I got you. It's mind-numbing. All right, listen. Betty, any admin? We're gonna get rolling on this.
Nope, no admin.
Any hellos? Is anyone out there in chat?
Yes, say Montreal is in chat, Markia Live, YouTube, YouTube. Yeah, a couple of people that we know. Jose Mesa, Arwin.
Harwin's in chat, yeah, right.
Just 70 watching earlier.
Yeah, 70 people in chat. So yeah,
70
people watching.
That's a lot of people, man. That's a lot of pressure on me.
Yeah, well, we'll get better and better.
Got any jokes or anything we could start out with?
Jokes? Is this a joke to you?
No. This is stay in context, for goodness sakes. I said any jokes anyone got.
I think that was the joke. So the joke was on you.
Yeah, thank you. I like how you do. So, anything new besides that, and then we'll get started. Anything that just popped up over the past couple days that surprised any of you? No.
Something that surprised anyone else.
Yeah, anything new on the ball
concerning
front that
what?
surprised you?
Yes.
Concerning what?
Concerning the subject of the Earth not being spherical and being obviously an observably flat. Yes. So the Black Swan, I search daily on YouTube to see if anybody's made responses, videos about it, challenging it, etc., etc. And COVID-19 hit, and it started to die off. There's less and less people responding to it because presumably they've got their mind on other things. However, in the last week, it's returned with a vengeance, which is brilliant because people want to now get back into the curve calculator. I appreciate that there's many people on our own side that don't fully understand the extent of how impactful this argument is, but with time they will. They've come along and they've hoped for an in to beg the question and use the begging the question proof of nothing perspective hijacking curve calculator once again. It just gets 2-word response from me, Black Swan. So I've had an opportunity to bring up that argument again, which makes me very pleased. So that's interesting because it did take a bit of a lull, which is always the case when anything's new. There's not going to be constant upward curve. It's peaks and troughs, right? When it's a prolonged period, which it will be with an argument such as the Black Swan. Not everyone's going to get it all once. And they're slowly starting to get it, and they're slowly trying to weasel their way back into having the argument with a essentially debunked model. They don't have an R value to use to give them a geometric horizon. They've only got one rebuttal, which is we've got 2 horizons, one we don't see. And we can now talk about that all day long, which is wonderful.
Yeah, we're going to have some associated, we're not going to discuss the Black Swan directly, but some associated arguments that the Black Swan impacts. It's really funny that, I don't know, they must have blinders on, but when they say that we don't see the geometric horizon or the horizon's refracted, they don't think about the other arguments that they need the geometric horizon to be exactly where it is. You ever notice that? They argue one argument, but forget about that same thing in another argument, and they change that same thing in the other argument.
We call that double think and double speak.
You mean how they forgot
Flexible, man. Getting creative.
You mean they forgot how the physicality of this geometric horizon was supposed to be blocking boats and blocking buildings and things like that? Back in the day, they used to use that calculator to tell us that, to tell us how much physically is being blocked. All of a sudden, it's not physical anymore. All of a sudden, now we're told, oh, did you guys forget about optics? No, we didn't. That's been our argument the entire time, guys. Thanks for catching up.
Yeah.
Welcome to Flat Earth.
Yes, sir. Yeah, it's pretty funny. Yeah, did you guys forget about optics? No, that's been our argument the whole time.
Oh my god, yeah.
I'll tell you. Hey, Jose Mesa's in here. What's up, sir? You off mute, Betty?
Hey, good to see everyone. Just wanted to add on to that, man. We've had a bunch of debates. Black Swan hasn't died in the 24/7 Discord. Has been ramping in there. We haven't dropped it. That's one of our best arguments at the moment. And we just had a guy the other day by the name of Cunny in there. You've had the pleasure of talking to him, Conor Racer, the youngster.
Yes.
We hammered him with the Black Swan. I think you were there. And in the same sentence after Black Swan, he starts to bring up boats getting cut off. So yeah, the contradictions are hilarious with the Black Swan.
Yeah, after he said that the horizon was refracted, then that's what happens. They usually immediately bring up another argument that debunks their previous argument that was substantiated by the refraction. It's really, really funny. The really scary part, they don't realize it. That's scary to me. I'm just
Reality is flexible.
Well, that's the indoctrination, isn't it?
Yeah, I like
people are indoctrinated by these thoughts, and they can't hold to one argument because they have need of another argument in another fragment of their beliefs, right?
Yes. And then contradicts it. Yep. That's what happens.
Goes something like this. How do you explain this Black Swan observation? We do not see the geometric horizon. Well, then you haven't got a geometric horizon and your entire model's based on it. Let's change the subject. About this boat being cut off from the bottom. That proves we've got a physical geometric horizon.
Yeah.
Yes, they get it.
Yeah, exactly.
Geometrical horizon, you can't see it, but it's still there and it blocks things.
Yep.
But it's not effectively in the horizon, even though they
Yep.
call it a horizon.
And they all do it. I don't get it. I don't understand how somebody can't realize that they're debunking their current argument by what they said previously. Is that, I don't know, is that some type of disease or something?
Hey,
Yeah.
Chewy, another thing we do is they'll add another line, right? Like, there's two oranges, right? Well, they'll put the line in between the oranges. Like, they've done that a bunch of times on our server. We'll be like, that's where the horizon should be. And I'm like, even in your globe model, that horizon wouldn't be there. Like, it's way, way before that. So it's just hilarious because they're just trying to remove where we see obviously the horizon, right, where the sky and the ground appear to meet. They're changing that to like they're just drawing an arbitrary line where they want, and they're saying that's where it should be. But even when they do that, it doesn't help them. It's hilarious, man.
Yeah, that's exactly what's going on. Yep. All right, like I said, I got 9 of them. You're all gonna recognize it. They're not very long, and we'll take breaks after a couple of them. We'll go to the BALLBUSTERS chat. Oh yeah, that's what I forgot. Always forget that. All right, guys, this is a BALLBUSTERS. That means that anyone can join this hangout. They can join the stream. And the link is, guess where? Can anyone guess where that link is?
In the description.
The link is in the description box below. So if you want to come in and question or challenge anything regarding what we're discussing, try to stay on topic. I know it's difficult, but try to stay on the topics that we're discussing. That would kind of help us. That would help kind of get, everyone on the same page. All right. So go ahead and join. There are rules that must be followed. I'm not going to go over them again. They're listed in the description box below. So after a couple topics, so you don't lose your train of thought, we'll go to the BALLBUSTERS voice chat and we'll check your comments, questions, or rebuttals. If you have a rebuttal, I sure hope you have some support. Let's roll. All right, this is a step-by-step block of instruction demonstrating how you construct BALLTARD arguments, hand-spinning space monkeys their asses. Now, giving them too much credit here when I say BALLTARD arguments, because we all know that they don't have any of their own arguments, right? There's a couple scenarios that could be at play here. Number one, this individual has got their argument directly from Wiki. Scenario number two, this person has got it from another baller who has got their argument directly from Wiki. So essentially, it's Flat Earth versus Wiki. If you haven't noticed, if you've been around here more than 3 weeks, wait a second, are you like Wiki or something? So let me boil it down for you. And that's their epistemology also. What's your epistemology? First, they don't even know what epistemology is. Right? Does anyone know what epistemology is? Well, let me tell you. It's how do we know what we know, right? And the BALLTARDs, their epistemology is Wiki. That's how they know what they know, because of Wiki. If Wiki would shut down all of a sudden, there wouldn't be any more BALLTARDs out here. You think I'm kidding? I'm not. I just wanted to clarify that right now. That's why they don't have any depth, and they contradict each other with every other breath. Because Wiki contradicts himself. And did you know that anyone and their sister can post on Wiki? Did you all know that? Anybody and their sister can post or take away on Wiki.
My sister.
Yeah, your sister could post on there, sure. Yeah.
Ooh, that would be bad.
Yeah, that's why we've had all kind of problems. Remember when we pulled out a couple Wiki references? Was to experiment, and they took cause and effect out. See, after we were saying it for like 10, even though I got many more citations from different places, we used the Wiki one just to show them that even in their BALLBUSTERS Space Monkey Wiki religion, they even know that it's all based on cause and effect. But then I went back there after I screenshotted it, because I know their games with a number of these citations. I actually screenshot them. Or we could use the Wayback Machine, but screenshotting's easy. That we went back to the definition, it was gone. It was completely gone. So somebody went there with the delete button. Right? That's the level that we're dealing with here. But I just wanted to let you know, little spill on Wiki. Got a little soapbox there, but we can move on from that. We're going to go over some typical arguments, and you're going to know them right off the bat because, well, if you've been out here for more than 2 weeks, you're going to know what I'm going to go over, at least 90% of this. So, typical baller claim, right? When you enter a hangout, you got a bunch of 10, 15 ballers in there. You're a flat earther, right? This is what happens. Baller claim. Why are these, whatever, always just an observation or a pic, disappearing below the horizon? See, that used to be the old spiel. I don't hear too much of this anymore because they're going to get jacked up with the Black Swan and they know it. But every now and again, you'll hear this. Conceptually, this is still out there. So, number one, hello, McFly. They immediately shift the burden of proof fallacy and request you explain their nonsense. Right? They'll show a picture, whatever, and ask you to explain it. That doesn't make any sense. You've just provided the picture. That's what I say. What in the world? Why would I need to explain? I never claimed anything whatsoever to do with your la. Right? Why do you need me to explain? It's your evidence. So you validate your claim, counselor. That's how you end that nonsense quick. Do it quick, because I see a lot of flat earthers chasing that tail. You explain sunsets, sunrises and sunsets. And then the flat earther starts his explanation. I'm there. Why are you following this? They're just in the back laughing. And another thing, why are you asking us to explain? Is that like, are you implying like you have the answer and we're providing a complete competing explanation to go against your explanation? You don't have an explanation. You got Wiki. That's your explanation. You don't got an explanation. And who cares about your explanation anyway? Because if you don't have experimental validation with that explanation, we'll get to in a second, you got nothing. You got a just so story from Wiki. My word. So that's what I say. Tell us, Crayon Muncher, why do you wander around aimlessly asking complete strangers to explain your claims? What do? Go up to the gas station and just can you explain and just make stuff up? Can you explain this? You'd leave with a black eye. At best. You got people rolling their eyes at you. Are you people insane? You numpty dipshits are in dire need of some new tactics. Hire a preschooler. And number two, and with your observe and declare explanation, after I challenge, no, you explain your explanation, we're going to need you to validate it. Because an explanation's worthless. It's just a just so story. Wiki type, one each. So with your explanation, A, natural phenomena observed. Formal scientific hypothesis, please. I need you to identify the independent, dependent, and control variables in the experiment, and then post a null. that was rejected or falsified. Right? Let's hear that explanation. Why? Well, they're directly implying a cause and effect relationship with their specific boats going over a curve. What's causing the obstruction? Curve. Well, that's a cause and effect relationship. Well, okay. There's a method that adjudicates or validates natural cause and effect relationship. It's called the scientific method. See A, B, C, and D above. You see this? This right here is the scientific method. Right here. But you don't know that. Right? There's hundreds of thousands of scientific methods. Right? My word. Okay, well, give us one and then walk us through an example of how you validate something through it. Well, yeah. Number 3, did the ships disappear below the refracted horizon? That's why you're not getting too many of these. See, the Black Swan has put a halt to this nonsense, right? About the ships. I don't know. I haven't heard the ships over the horizon. I just haven't heard it. So it's not going to go too far. Somebody's going to come up. Some doofus is going to come out with it. Like Jose Retard or somebody's going to say it. Here's the most important point. I'm going to drop anchor right here. It's a very important point. I've skimmed over this many times in the past. I'm not going to do that. From the University of Rochester Physics Labs. Go through this slowly. Common mistakes in applying the scientific method. The most fundamental error is to mistake the hypothesis for an explanation of a phenomena without performing experimental tests. Sometimes common sense and logic tempt us into believing that no test is needed. There are numerous examples of this dating from the Greek philosophers to the present day. Let me say this again. The most fundamental error is to mistake the hypothesis for an explanation of a phenomenon without performing experimental tests. What's the problem in our little genre? You clowns don't even have a friggin' viable hypothesis. It's even worse. You don't even know what a scientific hypothesis is. I can do this. This isn't a stereotype. I'm telling you, I've been out here for 4 years, and I have yet to have a single BALLBUSTER give me a viable hypothesis on anything. I was just in 24/7. These guys could back me up. Hold on. Go in here 1 second. Yep, he's still in here, him and Chocolate, because they were there. So I bumbled in 24/7. I was doing ads for one of the shows, and I seen a PhD astrophysicist making comments, right? So I had to go in, and I asked him point blank, please give me a viable scientific hypothesis for anything in astrophysics. Guess what he did? He gave me a cluster screw of nonsense. I asked him what identify the independent and dependent. I wrote it down. Wait a second. Wrote that darn thing down. I can't find it. I'll look for it during break. I wrote it down. I said, just give me I asked him to repeat it a few times. He says, why are you asking me to repeat it? I said, I'm writing it down. I'm affording you that respect to write what you're telling me down. Right? So I wrote it all down. It was a train wreck. Right? And he got embarrassed and he ran away. Let me ask you. Jose Mesa and Chocolate, I had to leave because he left. I asked him to please post another scientific hypothesis. Did he come back and post another one?
He tried. He tried to do the whole spectroscopy.
Oh, and I missed it.
Yeah, it was hilarious.
Oh, my God. Let me tell you, folks, we had a PhD astrophysicist. He'd failed 5th grade general science. His hypothesis that he gave me, Nothing. He didn't have a viable independent or dependent variable. So if a PhD in astrophysics can't give me a viable scientific hypothesis, well, what do you think are the chances of one of these numpty dipshits giving me one? There's not. They can't. Right? So this is very important. This is saying the most fundamental error is to make the hypothesis. Mistake the hypothesis for an explanation. They don't even have that. They just have an explanation. Right? That they just made up. It's just a just so story. And they think just because they can explain something that it's like viable, like that's reality. No. Now, you have to validate your conjurings. For goodness sakes, this is almost common sense. Like I said, all you have is your picture with your Trainwreck religious spin attached. Again, just so story. That's why they do it. That's why they immediately shift the burden of proof fallacy onto the opponent or onto the flat earther that comes in, because they can't do anything with their explanation. If they're questioned on it, it just falls apart because it's from Wiki. It's just those story. They have no depth with it for the most part. You'll get a couple that try to freaking square the circle and then they'll contradict themselves like 5 times, right? With their BS. So flat earthers, take your head out of your 4th point of contact and set these retards straight right from the outset. As soon as they ask you for an explanation, you say, what in the world are you talking about? Explanation for what? I didn't claim anything just yet. Have you? Right? And if you do claim something, be ready to validate it. Don't fall into the same trap, is what I'm trying to say. And don't let them get away from shifting the burden of proof. And these religious retards don't even know their own model. Reification fallacy. They don't even know it. We know it. If they say my model, well, show it to us. In 4 years, I have yet to see the spinning BALLBUSTERS model. And that's all they talk about. Where's your model? Where's your model? Where's your model? Why don't you present a model? No, let's see yours first. Clowns. Al-Biruni, Booby. He's my man. From 973 to 1048. If you want to know where these guys got their radius from, you're looking at them right here. Al-Biruni, not Eratosthenes. No. No, they didn't get that from Eratosthenes. They got it from Al-Biruni. So Biruni developed a new method using trigonometric calculations to compute Earth's radius and circumference based on the angle between the horizontal line and true horizon, that's the imaginary horizon, from a mountaintop with known height. He calculated the height of the mountain by going to 2 points at sea level with a known distance apart, and then measuring the angle between the plane and the top of the mountain for both points. Biruni's estimate of 6,339.9 kilometers for the Earth radius had an error of 0.0026. Excuse me. And was 16.8 kilometers less than the current value of 6,356.7 kilometers. The idea came to him when he was on top of a tall mountain near Nandana in India. He measured the dip angle using an astrolabe, and he applied to the law of sines formula. He also made use of algebra in his calculation. Let's take a look at what he did here. Al-Biruni climbed up a tall mountain, come out with the Earth's radius. Right? Take a look at what these variables are here. A, let's find out what A is. Highest point of the mountain. That's pretty self-explanatory. B, lowest point of the mountain. B is not on the lowest point. B, it should be down here. But I digress. H, height of the mountain. And C, the lowest point of the true horizon visible from point A. C. So the angle right here. What's the problem with this? It's rhetorical. There's a big problem here. Because all the BALLBUSTERS arguments against the Black Swan is that we never see the geometric horizon. The geometric horizon is refracted. So you can't change your argument from that and go back to this argument and say Al-Biruni used a refracted horizon to calculate a geometric radius. You want to know why? Because it makes no damn sense. That's why. So your whole fairy tale, including old Booby here, gets blown up at its base. You don't even realize it. Do you think you're fooling anyone? Because incoherent second graders can reconcile what I just said in 2 to 3 seconds. You're done. Like I said, can you please explain? 1 second, Mike Discipline, I'm almost done. Can you please explain how you can obtain a geometric radius from a refracted horizon? Questions, comments?
I'll go last though, happily.
Yeah, Nathan, you're last. Arwen, questions, comments?
Right. So the geometric horizon, it's there. It's just some arbitrary point on the picture. And you're just gonna imagine that's a geometrical curve, even though, or geometrical horizon, which should be the edge of a curve of the Earth sphere. But yeah, that you don't see it as a horizon, so you just gotta think of it like a horizon. And that's it.
Taco.
Did you forget about optics, man? Like, what are we doing here? We don't see the geometric horizon, so I don't know what that little X is doing there. Little cross where it's hitting the ground. That's a physical place, right? But we're now being told that it's not physical. It's apparent. So, yeah, I don't know how Al-Biruni did what he did with a refracted horizon. That seems a little silly. So, yeah, rest in peace to the geometric horizon, aka the curve of the Earth.
Jose Mesa.
Done.
Thank you, sir. Jose Mesa.
I love the Al-Biruni argument because that was Coach Show's #1 argument for radius about like 2 years ago, nonstop. So he hasn't brought that up since then. So it's a nice fresh breath there. That's it.
Thanks, man. Nathan.
I think it's important that people understand that when the burden of proof is shifted, there's also going to be a little dirty sister of a fallacy going along with it, which is the holding up in false dichotomy of a model that you'll undoubtedly present if you fall into that little trap. It's an understanding of who the burden of proof is on. If somebody's making a claim, then it's up to them to back it, as you point out. So if they hold up present a picture and say, how do you explain, detail something that the sun does, and then go on to say, how do you explain, understand that unless you've actually made a claim about that, there's no need to defend anything in that regard. In other words, ask your opponent to actually explain what their claim is and what they think it proves, so you can rip it to pieces. Now, as is the case on the debate, again, you'll get to the point where you'll annihilate your opponent, and then they'll still ask you to explain something. Like, for example, if you've got a sky vacuum claimant and you rip it to pieces with the necessary antecedent of a container, they'll still ask you where the dome is after you've annihilated them, even though you haven't made a claim about it. It's important to understand who the burden of proof is on. I have a standard response in comments when someone comes along into the comments and just asks me to justify a claim I haven't made. So, why does the sun do X, Y, and Z? I'll reply with something along the lines of premature sycamore pollination in the north of England on a globe. How do you explain that?
Did you get an answer to that, by the way?
It's not. I don't even know if there is premature pollination of sycamores in the north of. I'm getting a load of feedback from you.
Mike Discipline.
No, I made it up myself. I mean, obviously, I'm the authority on premature sycamore pollination, but I don't know if that's actually the case. I just made it up. So, whether or not they'll be able to give me an answer on a claim that I'm making, which is to say that there is premature sycamore pollination, there probably isn't, if I'm ruthlessly honest.
Premature.
Playing it on a globe. That's the more important thing here, Betty.
Sorry, what?
I'll ask you, Owen. Owen, how do you explain premature sycamore pollination in the north of England on a globe? Go.
I have no idea what it is.
Yeah. That's the point.
What point?
He hit the exact point, because what they try to do is, I'm talking about the GlobeTARDs, and there's usually 8 to 15 against you. That's just how it goes. It's been that way since the beginning. They're going to ask you to explain right out of the gate. You're going to be asked to explain something. No matter whether you claimed it or not, that's how they get you backpedaling. Right? Like I said, they implied that they have the explanation, right? But they want to hear yours so they can compete, right? But theirs is only, they're sandbagging back there. They don't got anything. They got wiki behind them. That's it. But you'll have flat earthers fall into the trap. Even if flat earthers, I seen this the other day. They caught on to the little game initially, and then somebody asked them to explain something else like 5 minutes later. Guess what they did? Tried to explain it. I'm sitting there. What? I listen. At this point, I have to turn it off. I can't deal with it, man. But that's what.
Let me
Go ahead.
just my end bit again, because you've missed it out completely. I don't think you intentionally ignore me, but the whole point of that process is normally, how do you explain it with your model, that they can hold up your explanation in false dichotomy with their wiki explanation that their model offers, in the hope that their model will have a better explanation than a weak-ass flat earther's explanation, so that they can essentially, with the burden of proof reversal fallacy, get you into a false dichotomy fallacy. In other words, say, well, my model does a better job of explaining this than your weak-ass flat earth explanation, therefore my model wins. Earth is a globe. That's what they'll do. False dichotomy is the end result.
Yeah, but their models always are very, very short on insight and realizations, and because they always keep it to this very oversimplified kind of visual model. And yeah, that's what they stick to, this skeleton. So it's a total straw man situation every time.
Exactly. You got it. It's a straw man situation because they conjure this flat earth model from who knows where, right? Models are reification fallacies. So this is
what I wanted to say. Why are we discussing a model?
exactly.
Yeah, what? Mention that in your presentation. So let this be known by anybody watching. When they say model and they're talking about the sphere, ask them to show it you. They haven't got one. More likely to see a flat earth model given to you by the Flat Earth Society that's more complete than you will from the globe heads when they say they've got a model. They'll say, oh, well, I've got stellarium. You go, oh, right, okay. So the stellarium's got everything covered, does it? Absolutely not. It'll be one aspect of one tiny element of what they call a model. As for an all-encompassing globe model, none exists.
Yep. I told him 3 years ago, in fact, it was cathexis. I said, hey, when you're on your travels, because he was frequenting all the knucklehead dives, I said, ask him to show you their model. He started laughing uncontrollably.
Oh, that live. That was absolutely brilliant. And Cathexis has got this very nonchalant way of doing things. So he dropped it in real subtle and then just sat back. I think it was Gem Panda on there. And, they were talking, babbling on as they do in very forthright tones about their model. And then Cathexis is just like, any chance I can see that model? And he can see what they're going to show you.
Hey guys, you're welcome.
Yeah,
Betty, it's you. You're giving feedback.
I know, but I've tried to be as short as I can.
All right, yeah, I think we got this. We exhausted this one. Now, listen, if you want to come in, because we're going to stop and take a break here. If you want to come in and discuss this little explanation thing, and or Al-Biruni and how he figured out the geometric radius of the Earth with a refracted horizon, come on in. The water's warm. No sharks. Come on in, BALLBUSTERS. Go ahead and come on in and defend that train wreck of a religious zealot GlobeTARD you have. Come on in. We want to hear it. So we'll give you a
Kiwi,
couple
but
seconds.
can I ask something? Like, if somebody, like for example, Rumpus comes in, can you at least let them, no matter how painful it's gonna be, because it's so annoying and strawmanny and all that, just let them at least talk for 2 minutes straight? Because you know it's gonna be shit, but everybody's gonna want to jump in. You know, I would too. But let's give them at least 2 minutes. You know.
No.
No.
Oh yes.
Sure.
I'll tell you what, let's just go down. We have a few people in here. We got Flat Earth. You want to take over? You have the con, Betty.
Can I first shout out the super chat because this one was made a little while ago by Rakia Live, and he says, "Don't talk about my sister." LOL. Speaking of woman, Jose JG show is biased and censors truth. So I think that he calls Jose a woman. I don't know.
Jose Goebbels.
Okay. Hmm.
Betty.
Goebbels.
Hey, thanks a lot, Dave.
Which Jose?
Hold on a second, Arwen. We don't need to talk about Jose over here. Not Jose Meza, yeah, but not Jose retard Goebbels. So Betty, is that it?
Yeah, that's it.
Thanks, Dave. Appreciate that. Betty, you have the con?
Do I? Okay. Yeah, let's see if we can have some comments on people. I think there are a lot of flat earthers also in here. So let's start with flat earth data. You're
Hey,
unmuted?
can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Right on. Yeah, no, I was just I was laughing at the Al-Biruni example because it seems like it's like the Earth's a ball, so I've got to go measure it. It's not like let me be scientific and analyze what I'm looking at, and it's right down to Aristotle. It's just these guys overlooked optics. So it's a brilliant position to be in. It's hard to explain, I guess, model. Like if you were to model you can draw it out in a way highlighting the path of perspective, so to speak. And then if you follow the path of perspective and you had a relative parallel line to the ground and had the path sun move across it, you could show the geometry for it. The thing is that there's hardly none of it around. And it just seems like this comical joke because they were observing the world for what it was, but completely ignoring the fact just ignoring refraction and ignoring vision, angular limits, and super deceived to think their vision could be millions and millions and light years away. It goes right back down to the original point of the first gentleman who was studying the distance to the stars. I can't remember his name, a Greek guy, obviously. And he didn't want to name a position to the stars. He wanted to call them infinitely distant. And so this philosophy of infinite distance took on place. And that's where we're at. We're at this infinite distance and expansion. And, so this delusion of being able to see into the infinite space is right there in the math of Al-Biruni.
Now, you mentioned Aristotle, right? What did do you have any primary source stuff that Aristotle said? Or do you know of any?
Not presently. I just know that he wasn't considering refraction as an issue.
Issue for what?
I believe. I for the atmosphere.
Yeah, what I'm going for here is I've been hearing a lot of people through the years talk about Aristotle, but I never seen anyone cite anything. So I'm calling bullshit for right now. until I see like a citation that claims what Aristotle said, and because I've never seen it, it might be correct. I've never seen it. That's what I'm saying. Appreciate that, Flat.
This is, yeah, no worries. I'll try to dig it up.
It's not for you. It's just
I'm sure
it's not for you. It's just a general call out to everyone. See if they can come up with something, including the flat earthers, because I'm just saying I've never seen it. It's not just you.
So out of all the Aristotle information you've come across, he's never mentioned he's mentioned refraction in his math and his.
No, I'm talking about the boats going over the horizon. I've never seen that.
I'm just talking about how they never calculated refraction. Like it's the same
okay.
it's the same idea of claiming satellites are 20,000 miles out and there's a line of sight to them, and then claiming the eclipses or whatever what you're seeing the sun and moon above the horizon at the same time is due to refraction. So it's this double speak, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And it's hijacked by refraction. It's like it's almost like, okay.
Now, let's hold up. Hey, Flat Earth Data, we can't go on. I got your point. I'm gonna have to cut you right there. We got plenty of other people in here, all right?
Cheers, man.
You can stay. Don't go. I just don't want to go. We can go on for hours, is what I'm saying. JK38.
Yeah, I'm muting him now.
All right. I don't have much to add. I just wanted to say, please do not put us through 2 minutes of rumpus.
Yeah. Thanks, JK. Appreciate it, man.
Yep.
Jose, quickly.
Yeah, no comments. I think we hashed out Al-Biruni pretty well.
Thank you, sir. Neil. What's up, Neil?
What's going on? Hey, you guys were asking if they had some sort of disease earlier.
Yes.
I got it. They all have Alzheimer's disease.
Alzheimer's.
Right? Don't Alzheimer's, don't they forget?
Nice.
They can't
Nice
remember?
one, Neil. All right.
Well, they have Alzheimer's. That's all I got for now. Keep it going. I'm in school right now, the School of QE.
Appreciate it, sir. That's a good one, man. I'll remember it. Thank you. Ravenous Brad.
What's going on, man?
What's up, man?
I'm just here to chill and kill and learn. That's all, man.
Chill and kill and learn. All right. Check out the Alzheimer's disease. You're going to get a lot of it right here in a few seconds. Appreciate it. Rumpus.
Got you, man. Appreciate it.
Okay, you got one left, and that's the rumpus.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go. Okay, rumpus, you're muted.
Thank you. Yeah, you don't seem to understand that the Al-Biruni measurement. I know you want to try and mute me, QE, because you can't handle it. I know that. The problem you've got is you don't seem to understand that the apparent horizon and the geometric horizon, when you make a measurement from high up on a mountain, are very close. So when Al-Biruni did his measurement, he then ended up with a result that was within a few percent of the right answer because refraction only affected the result by a few percent. There you have it. Al-Biruni's measurement is quite accurate. It has been verified. It's very simple.
How do you know it's very close if you've never seen the geometric horizon?
Seeing the geometric horizon got nothing to do with modern day measurements of how we determine them. So that's actually irrelevant at that point.
Yeah, but we're talking about Al-Biruni, right?
Yeah, hold on. Yeah, I just explained to you. He came up with a result for the radius, and that matches.
No, but you said they were very close.
Let me finish. And that gives you the same result as the modern day result. That gives you the same result as the modern day result. Therefore, it was accurate. Sorted.
How did this switch from geometric horizon to non-geometric horizon happen? You know, it's such a radical change of format.
But Darwin, 3 years ago, about the Isle of Man, we Globers always referred to refraction. And then someone like Nathan would say, oh no, look, it's all to do with holograms. They're making up holograms. And now you've finally discovered refraction. You're now all suddenly discover this whole new
So wait,
realm that we've been
terrestrial
telling you about for
refraction,
3
right?
years, and suddenly you're all confused because you can't cope with more than two things. You can't cope with the fact that the horizon is determined by the geometry and refraction. There are two factors.
I get
You
that.
can't
I get
understand
the
that.
terrestrial refraction, Rumpus. I get the argument. The problem is though
Oh,
that
well then.
before you included, people were kind of like taking photographs and then disseminating where the edge of the Earth is, basically of the curve. So yeah, even though this may be technically the stance that you're now taking, you did
You've taken
originally
this.
spend a lot of time just taking a look at pictures and then saying, yeah,
Yeah,
that,
but
that
Owen,
is
you
where
didn't
the
listen to what I
edge
said.
of the globe is.
Let me explain again.
But
We
you
always
did do
allowed
that.
for refraction. We always included refraction. That's what the 7/6R calculation was. And we always mentioned it. And then Nathan would always say, oh, look, they're including 7/6R to allow for refraction. He would complain about it bitterly. And now you finally understood what we were talking about 3 years ago.
that's cute.
We do?
So do we or do we not
What?
have a geometric horizon?
Let's try it again. 3 years ago,
Rumpus.
we went on and on about
We heard
including
you, Rumpus.
refraction.
Now you're being asked a question. Go ahead, Chocolate.
We all
So do we or do we not see that?
I missed the last word. See what?
The geometric horizon?
It's a position. It's not the where the sky meets the water, because that's defined by
So
the
So then it's
international
not a
relative.
horizon then, right?
It
not a
is a
horizon.
horizon. It's a
Oh, you don't
How
understand
is it
what
a
a horizon.
horizon? Go ahead, Nathan.
Sorry, just one second. Can I just, Rumpus, you don't understand what a horizon is. You seem to think it's a position marked with an X in a geometric model. It isn't. Horizon, even a retard understands what a horizon is. The point where the sky appears to meet the
four
land.
different horizons.
How am I being talked through? I don't get it. Yeah. Even idiots, like really stupid people, understand what a horizon is. It's not an X marks the spot position in a mathematical construct where you see the side of your own head and comparing to pictures. That's definitely not a horizon. That X marks the spot is not a horizon. You think it's a horizon because that particular horizon only exists in your model. Because you can ask any of the Muppets we've dealt with recently, like, let's pick one at random, AB Science. I'll give you a quote from him. We do not see the geometric horizon, Rumpus. If we don't see it, not a horizon. Are you saying it's a point in my model? Yeah, it just means it only exists in your model. If it's not a line where the sky apparently meets the ground or sea, is not a horizon. So you've got a big problem. Or what you're calling horizon only exists as a point, side on, marked with an X, a single dot rather than a line. The model where you're seeing the side of your own head, i.e. it's excluding perspective. So this X marks the spot horizon in your model is absolutely nothing like a horizon. We don't see the side of our own head. We don't see the horizon as a single point. And this horizon, geometric that it is never seen in reality, can't be seen in reality, does not exist beyond a thought experiment where you suck out all the atmosphere. We only have one horizon. Yours is geometric. It doesn't exist in reality. It only exists as a point in your debunked model.
QE has already listed to you number of horizons he found on the National Geographic website. So there is more than one horizon. If you want to talk about the visual horizon, let me finish. Let me finish.
You're
And
wrong.
the visual, let me
You're wrong.
finish. Let me finish.
What?
Let
Lying?
me finish.
You
I
will
won't
not
let you finish.
repeat it.
You.
You will not repeat.
Muting me. It's Fundy muting me. No, he didn't detail lots of different horizons. He cross-referenced how they were all exactly the same, with the exception the true horizon. That would be a straight line, a kind of geometric term that's imaginary. But beyond that, they were all describing one horizon, the geometric horizon, because we only have one horizon. They're all described as the same exact thing. So no, he wasn't describing multiple horizons because we only have one horizon.
The thing about
QE has
horizons is
already
they
listed
all share
one-
visually.
Hold on a
that
second,
it is
Arwen.
where the sky meets the ground.
Hold on a
Right.
second.
QE
Hold on a
has
second, Arwen.
QE has listed.
Hold on a second. Wait a second. Okay. Rumpus, you get to answer. Arwen, let him answer.
Right. QE has already listed from the National Geographic website about 4 horizons. So even he accepts there's more than one horizon.
Hey, did you just listen? I don't know what it is. Do you got something in your ears? Nathan just explained to you that I went over a number of different horizons from the Nat Geo website, but all of them except one was talking about the geometric horizon. The other one was just an imaginary. He just explained this to you. So no, there's only one horizon. We only see
there
one
isn't.
horizon.
That website listed a number of very different horizons.
God.
But if you want to talk about, I'm happy just to talk about the visual one, the one that we see where the sky meets the water. I'm happy just to talk about that one, but that's just one horizon.
That
I'm
would
happy,
be the
I'm
apparent
happy to
one,
talk about that. That's the apparent horizon. That's right. And so I'm happy just to talk about
Okay,
that.
Right,
then.
not the geometric one, right?
But hold on.
And that's Jesus.
Just hold on a second, Rumpus. Calm down. The geometric horizon is the apparent visible horizon, Rumpus.
No, it isn't.
Yeah, it is. By definition, it is.
No, it isn't.
Yeah,
the geometric horizon is the
Seconds,
result.
Sorry, Rumpus, if I can get your attention just for one moment. I detailed this with you. I know you had Zanuck there as your wingman to cause a lot of background noise while we were reading it out from Andrew Thomas Young's website. He described the geometric horizon as something you had line of sight with. He also described it as, quote, apparent. Now, that was when he was describing the geometric horizon. According to Andrew Thomas Young, he describes us having a line of sight with it. He also goes on to explain that in the real world, we'll never have line of sight with that. So he describes it as something apparent. He specifically details the geometric horizon as, quote, apparent, and as having, quote, line of sight, meaning we can see it, we don't see it. It's just a double-speaking fundy moron who's lying to everybody and creating 2 horizons by having a thought experiment about a geometric horizon where we have no atmosphere, a situation we can never achieve. He then simultaneously describes line of sight to an apparent horizon when detailing this thought experiment. You seem to be incorrect when you say, no, the geometric horizon is not apparent, because it's detailed exactly in that vernacular by Andrew Thomas Young. Friend of yours, I believe.
It's up on screen now also. I have it on screen from the U.S. Department of Defense horizon. In general, it's the apparent or visible junction of the earth and sky as seen from any specific position. Also called the apparent, visible, or local horizon. Well, what's the local horizon? Also called the geometrical horizon, is the visible boundary between the earth and sky. It's over. You're done. That's it.
That's the apparent horizon. That is indeed the apparent horizon.
So
And
3 years
that's
ago,
one
the
that we
boats
see.
that were
Hold on,
disappearing,
can I
those were
finish,
disappearing
please? Can you
because
wait
of an
until I
Hold on a
make
apparent
second.
horizon.
Let him speak. Let him
Right.
speak for a second.
Right.
Wait a second, Rumpus. I'm going to let you speak. Well, hold on a second.
Okay.
I just read out the definitions for the geometrical horizon. It's visible and apparent. Go ahead.
Oh, that's not the geometric horizon.
So, nuh-uh.
The geometrical.
I'm sorry, we don't do nuh-uhs here. Sorry
That's
about
the
that.
geometrical one.
I'm sorry.
No, you've read out the definition of the geometrical horizon.
Go ahead and
Now,
mute him. We're going to move on. Time to move on, Rumpus. Sorry. It's right in front of your face. Everyone can see the definitions. They are on screen right now. Nuh-uh doesn't cut it. Okay? Just as simple
And
as
in
that.
the past, I didn't hear multiple horizons. I've never heard that 3 years back.
You haven't?
Because
No.
they didn't start arguing that until the Black Swan.
Yeah.
Apparently, the Black Swan changed their entire argument.
I would like to ask one last question, though, as he brought up the Isle of Man.
Go ahead. You can ask
Please.
him. Go ahead, Betty.
Just a quick question. So, which horizon were we seeing when we were looking at the Isle of Man? Was it a geometric horizon?
The apparent horizon.
Yeah, was that apparent horizon, which is described when being geometric by Andrew Thomas Young, as also apparent having a line of sight? Was it did we have line of sight for a physical geometric sphere edge horizon capable of blocking things when we discussed the Isle of Man? Was the horizon in the Isle of Man discussion geometric or not?
The apparent horizon.
Is it geometric?
It was the apparent horizon.
That's the geometric horizon.
No, it's not.
We just went over the
Geometric or not?
definition.
No, you're getting confused.
right, stop
that's the
'em. That's it.
geometrical.
We're
That's
gonna
the
move on.
geometrical, not
I'm not confused. It's a question you haven't answered. My question was very clear. Are we capable of drawing a straight tangent line to the horizon we debated in the Isle of Man? Did you draw a straight line to that physical geometric horizon or not?
No, I didn't.
So it wasn't geometry that you were doing then?
I'll explain again. There are two factors which give you the apparent horizon. One is the geometry of the Earth, and the second thing is refraction. Those two things
Wrong.
combined give you the apparent horizon. Very simple.
So two
Two
horizons.
horizons.
No, let's try it again. Let's
Two
try it again.
horizons.
We
Rumpus.
see the
Not
apparent
listening to the
horizon.
rebuttal.
We
Not
see
listening
the
to the
apparent.
rebuttal, Rumpus. You're not listening to the rebuttal, are you? You're just filibustering. Call that rumpusing. We only have one horizon, Rumpus. So it's not dependent on two things. Those two things, you mean two horizons. A geometric horizon based on the R value now debunked by the Black Swan. And then a second apparent horizon? No, we've only got one horizon. Or second geometric position, which isn't apparent. It's just an X marks the spot in a model that's been debunked, where you see the side of your own head and exclude perspective. No, we don't have two horizons. I'm not misunderstanding anything. If you're going to perform geometry to claim that the bottom of the beach is missing at the Isle of Man because there's a physical geometric sphere edge in the way, you're going to need to be able to draw a straight line to it.
No,
The
you
geometry?
don't. Light goes in a bend, in a
geometry.
curve. Therefore, you do not need to draw a straight line. You need to use.
And you're not doing geometry. To do geometry, you need a tangent. That's what geometry is. You'd need to draw a tangent line, which is straight, to a point you have marked in your model as being an R-based geometric physical sphere edge horizon. That's what doing geometry is. The tangent point is the top point of the claim to be curved Earth you're doing geometry with, otherwise known as the horizon. If you're saying, no, you haven't got a straight line, no, it's not geometric, then you can't perform geometry, Rumpus.
Curves are included in geometry. You utter.
Curves that you're drawing straight lines to. So he's double speaking you and lying to your audience. If you've got a sphere Earth beneath your feet, the only curve involved would be the curve of the Earth. And that curve of the Earth would give you a physical geometric sphere edge horizon that in order to do geometry, you have to draw a straight line to meet the tangent point. In order to do geometry, you still require a line, a straight line, called a tangent, meeting that curved claim to be sphere Earth at the tangent point. That tangent point being a geometric sphere edge horizon that when we debated the Isle of Man, you claim blocked the bottom of the Isle of Man. To do that geometry, you will require a tangent. That would be a straight line, not a bent one.
Light rays are curved and they can meet the Earth geometry.
Fascinating. We're not dealing with light when we're dealing with your geometric sphere edge calculations. It's purely geometry. The assertions of light have the attached R value and 7/6 prior. So that doesn't make them optical in nature. That makes them mathematical in nature. So you require geometry. Your geometry requires a straight line.
No, it doesn't.
It does. That's what geometry is. It seems Rumpus is stupid. He doesn't understand what is required to perform geometry. If you're standing on a sphere, as you claim you are, and you're going to perform geometry, then you need to draw a straight line. That would be called a tangent. Look it up. It's in the dictionary. It's defined very specifically as a straight line. It will meet tangent point. Now, the tangent point in your geometric model is the sphere edge horizon. It's marked with an X and labeled as horizon based on the R value. And when you perform geometry, you're going to require a straight line to it. Now, it turns out that all those lines you claimed you were doing geometry with weren't straight. Then you weren't doing geometry when you did the Isle of Man maths.
Geometry, you utter moron.
Hey!
No. Moron is just an ad hominem attack. Just say it again. He's made it clear that the line of sight at the Isle of Man horizon was bent, refracted. He wasn't doing geometry. The whole thing was a lie and a sham. Because you require a tangent to do geometry, and he doesn't have one anymore. We've taken that away from him with the Black Swan. So all he can now do is call me a moron when I point out that he requires a straight line, tangent, to the top edge of his sphere that he's claiming he's standing on, also known as the geometric physical sphere edge horizon. You're going to need a straight line to that, and you haven't got one. I'm not a moron. I'm a flat earther debunking heliocentricity.
Curve can meet a surface at a tangent. You utter more.
A tangent, that's a straight line. Yeah, it meets the surface that's claimed to be curved in your model that we've destroyed with the Black Swan, meets it at a tangent point. And the point is met by a straight line that you've no longer got.
Curves can meet a surface at a tangent.
Tangent's a straight line. You need to bring up the definition of what a tangent is. Tangent's a straight line. A tangent point is where that straight line meets a curve, and you're going to damn well need one. But you haven't got one for your little model anymore, have you, with your Muppet Vision side on seeing your own head, marking X as a single point when it's a line? Horizon's a line, not an X. It's not a point on a curve where you've drawn a tangent. That would be geometry, and you haven't even got a straight line anymore, Rumpus.
Curves meet a surface at a tangent. They don't.
Tangent's a straight line that you haven't got. Do you not understand what a tangent is? It's a straight line, and you've made it clear you haven't got one.
Curves can meet a surface at a tangent.
Tangent's a straight line. We know. I know a curve can meet a tangent point with a straight line sat on top of it. Yeah, that's geometry. But you don't have any straight lines to the horizon for the Isle of Man discussion you wasted our time with, you pathetic little man. Now we've got a situation where you can't do geometry because you don't have a tangent. So while you're saying a curve can meet a tangent, you haven't got one, little man.
Curves can meet a surface at a tangent.
All right, that's it. That's it.
He's going around in circles like he thinks he's got to win. He hasn't got a straight line. He's just made it clear at the beginning of this discussion that he can't draw a straight line. It's a refracted horizon. Therefore, he hasn't got a tangent. So what have you got? Nothing. You don't have a tangent, moron.
Yeah.
You don't understand what a tangent is. You don't understand.
No, I do.
It's just chanting.
Ad hom. I understand what a tangent is in geometry. It's a straight line drawn to the top point of your curved earth that you claim we're standing on. And in order to do geometry, you're going to need a tangent. You've made it clear 5 times with an affirmation of my argument. Yeah, you're going to need a tangent, but you haven't got one, have you? You've got a bent donkey dick line to the horizon because according to you in the Isle of Man discussion, it's refracted. Well, if the Isle of Man and all of that crap's refracted, so's the horizon. And you can no longer do geometry to affirm that we've got a physical sphere edge horizon blocking the Isle of Man. You don't have a tangent, so you don't have geometry. You don't have a geometric horizon, so you don't have geometry. You don't have any perspective. You've got side-on Muppet view seeing your own head and the horizon marked as a single point when it's a line. This model is dead. It's been killed 5 times over by me.
Stated earlier that geometry doesn't include curves. That just makes...
It doesn't include curves. Yeah, you can have a curve when you're claiming your Earth's curved, and you're going to need a straight line tangent to the top of that curve, at a point marked in your model as being a horizon, a single point that's not a line crossing the periphery of my vision. No, in your model, you see the side of your own head and see the horizon as a single point that doesn't exist in reality unless you apparently suck all of the atmosphere out. So you haven't got a tangent, you haven't got a straight line, you haven't got a curved Earth, and your model's dead.
And any basics in geometry. You're an idiot.
All right.
He's dead.
It.
No more. I'm done with him. He can't come back into the conversation at the end. He's lost.
Yeah, he's done. It all stopped when he said "nuh-uh" to the definition of the geometric horizon. It was really over at that point. But yeah, that was fun. Arwen, did you like that? I gave him more than 2 minutes.
That was great. No, it's funny how he tried to literally bend the rules and basically try to state, no, you can perfectly fine to have curved lines in geometry. It's absurd. It's fantastical, and Rumpus is going places in Fantasyland, man.
No,
Wow.
he's not going anywhere here. At least he behaves somewhat, so we're gonna keep him here.
In Fantasyland.
Yeah, we're gonna
Not curved. Let me make a mild correction. Curved tangent. I don't have a curved tangent, straight line, but that's what he's got.
Yeah, exactly. That was clear. I think everyone got that, Nathan. Yes, exactly. He was conflating the two. Yep. All right, Betty.
Yeah.
We're going to try to get through the rest of this. But that was good. I liked that. Any admin?
No.
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 That's okay. That's fine. All right, we're gonna roll
Well,
on.
I do like the sort of progression on which we have made from the Isle of Man to now, and how things have, I hardly dare say it, evolved and stuff. And I think, my God, now if we would put these two shows together, the first ones on Nathan's and this one, then a lot of these arguments they can't make anymore because they double speak or go backtrack their own arguments back then, right?
Precisely.
It doesn't make sense. I think I heard you guys say about the bulge of the Earth. They wanted to see that, but that's a physical thing, wasn't it? That body of water. I remember that you were searching for the body of water or whatever.
Yep.
Used to be physical.
Bulge. Remember the bulge?
Yes.
Yeah.
Back in the day.
Ooh.
What happened to the bulge?
Dead.
It was never there. It was always just a regular optical horizon now. It's just, yeah.
We removed it at one stage. While we were debating the Isle of Man, the bulge just got removed from the Metapunk calculator.
Yes. Yep. I remember that. Yeah, because there is no bulge. It's got ball timers.
Isn't it called the Sagitta now?
The bulge is called the
T-bunk
Sagitta?
now.
I don't think
What's the middle line of the bulge?
There is no bulge.
No, on the Earth curvature calculator. They've changed it. That's right, but they changed it to give it another name.
Yeah, they removed it.
Well,
You know what else got removed? McWest, dude. Where's he been?
He knows it. He's got ball timers too. Yeah,
Not
yeah.
at the coast though. There are some spots where there is tidal bulging, and so there is like a literal bulge going on. But,
Yeah, but
it's
that's
due
not-
to the
that-
tiding and
that's
not
not-
to the curvature of the presupposed
That's
spherical Earth.
equivocating. That's a tidal bulge. That's different than the
Right.
bulge that they were talking about. So that's an equivocation fallacy.
Mhm.
All right, we're gonna roll. I thought we were gonna be done by now, but it doesn't look that way. But that's okay. 4 more hours. You all gonna
really?
No. You're all gonna like this one. So, Mike Discipline, we're gonna head on to the next one. The angle to Polaris changes 1 degree every 69 miles south. Right? You like that one? Yeah. Number 1, this isn't a scientific inquiry or proof because angles are not natural phenomena. Number 2, the measurement is based or taken from the horizon. Well, you got some problems now. This is what I was talking about in the beginning. Now, because of the Black Swan, you got a big problem, ballers, with your little game. There's a number of problems. This is the biggest one. According to you, we never see the geometric horizon. It's refracted. So how in the world can you obtain an accurate angle to Polaris from a refracted horizon? Por favor. Does the sextant come in with a built-in self-adjusting refractometer? If the horizon is loomed, yeah, that's a train wreck. That is, the horizon is displaced above the actual horizon, which isn't looming, but humor me. See the Just So Story fairy tale every baller is mindlessly parroted for the last 3 months. Then are your angles that you conjured or mindlessly parroted from other delusional space monkey numpty dipshits accurate? Or are they horse pucky bollocks? I'm putting my money on the last one here. You're finished. You're dead. Number 3, latitude and longitude lines aren't friggin' real. They're imaginary and are based on a sphere. The Eratosthenes, that means you have a begging the question fallacy on your hands with the imagination. A double whammy. Number 4, overall, this entire Polaris angle fiasco is an affirmed consequent formological fallacy. If P, then Q, Q, therefore P. If the spherical Earth with a radius of is true, P, we will observe differing elevation angles to Polaris as a function of distance from the North Pole, Q. We observe differing elevation angles from the North Pole, Q. Therefore, the Earth is a sphere. Therefore, P. Trainwreck fallacy. You need to prove the spherical Earth first, crayon munchers. And P.S. Please actually support your claim. That is, this is what I mean. We need to see the sextant with the built-in self-adjusting refractometer. Mic discipline, please. A, you need to show the sextant with the built-in self-adjusting refractometer and the calibration certificate. B, we need to see a brain-dead baller stand on the geographic North Pole and show us Polaris above their head, 90 degrees. C, support at least 5 other points with a multiple of 69 miles from the geographic North Pole and the degree measurement. One must be at the equator. We're not dealing with any of your images you pulled off a wiki or any graphics or any harebrained crap trap models. We're not going to be accepting those. Work at the really is level. So I don't mind your proof right here, but we need to see one of your brain dead ballers actually provide the support in reality. That's not unreasonable request. It's your claim, you prove it. And PS2, as Polaris gets closer to the not actual horizon, its position is also apparent due to celestial refraction. Is this going to cause any problems for you? And validate that Polaris is 323 light years away. That's the current measurement. It's not a measurement. It's the current Just So story. By the way, the previous estimate was 434 light years. Guess what that error is? 643 trillion miles. Do you understand? I don't think people can. It's difficult to grasp this number. 1 trillion is difficult to grasp. 1 trillion seconds. Guess how many years 1 trillion seconds equals? About 32 billion years. Just to give you a framework of what we're talking about here. This is a tear-jerking belly laugher, folks. PS3, Polaris isn't 90 degrees above magnetic north either. Many of you BALLBUSTERs don't know what the different norths are, right? Here's the difference between magnetic north, geographic north, that's true north, grid north, and celestial north. PS number 4, attempting to discern the shape of what you're standing on by looking to the heavens is tantamount to trying to ascertain the shape of Cassiopeia by looking at a mud bog. Yeah, utter. You get the gist. In conclusion, what we got here is known in the industry as a convoluted circle jerk, peddled and mindlessly parroted by no-depth Wiki Discovery Channel parroting pretender clown Muppets that couldn't discern their difference between their asses and a pipe wrench. What we got here, folks. The sun doesn't change angular size throughout the day. This is a good one. Along with the standard model being a slap in the face violation of the second law of thermodynamics, we have this numpty knucklehead. Ugh. So, angular size means apparent size. B, apparent in our context means not actual. According to your fairy tale narrative, the sun's position is also apparent. So the retard's actual query is, why does the not actual size, that's the angular size, of the sun not decrease its not actual size as it moves from its not actual position? They don't know. They don't realize that what their question is, but that's what it is. Why does the not actual size of the sun not decrease its not actual size as it moves from its not actual position? That's what your question is. Shocking. False equivalence fallacy. Is there a difference between terrestrial observation and celestial observations when considering angular or apparent not real size and position? You think? Now here we go again. This entire fiasco is an affirmed and consequent form of logical fallacy. If P, then Q, Q, therefore P. If the sun is 93 million miles away or whatever you friggin' claim it is now, who knows, it'll be different by tomorrow. If it's that far from the Earth, P, then the angular side of the sun will remain the same throughout the day, Q. We observe the angular side of the sun remaining the same, Q. Therefore, the sun is 93 million miles away. This is a train wreck, folks, of epic proportions. Stop clumsily circle jerking us around with your mindlessly parroted second grade playground fallacy fantasy and prove the sun is 93 million miles away first. Staff Muppets! Oh, by the way, does the sun change size? You can go ahead and put this into any search engine. Chris Van Matre back in the day, the apparent size of the sun does change throughout the day and the year. I don't really care about this, but their question up here, or their premise, we observe the angular size of the sun remaining the same, is false. Questions, comments?
I remember laughing my head off when I first heard that broken down. Why does the not actual size of the sun not change its not actual size as it moves from its not actual position?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's a complete cluster screw. It's just, again, it's undoubtedly going to be put on the flat earth to explain. How do you explain why the not actual size of the sun doesn't change its not actual size as it moves from its not actual position? How do you explain this?
Hey, QE, were you aware that BMLSB69 on his older videos before the Black Swan ones, like if you go further down, he's got a video of with the solar filter and the sun actually decreasing in size?
I wasn't aware of that. I seen Chris Van Matre's video. That was old. I think it was, don't quote me, I think it was 2016 back in the day, but I didn't see it, no.
Yeah, but Chris Van Matre, there's the argument against that one is that it's throughout the year. And they'll claim that, well, obviously we're moving away from the sun, blah, blah, blah. But the BMLSB69 is through the day.
No, he did it with the day. Chris did it through the day, too.
Oh, he did? I was only aware of the one where it was throughout the year.
Yeah, he did a few throughout the year, but he definitely had some days in there, yes. Yep. But okay, I might check those out. Thank you. Chocolate. Choco. Sorry, Chocolate. No,
I'm eating.
Yeah, you're eating? Okay, I forgot. Arwing, sorry about that, Arwing. Go ahead.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Oh, God. It's... Yes. At some point, your brain just melts. And yeah, what you said, they go into delusional territory very early on and then just try to improvise their way through, basically. And to behold this from the sidelines, still having grasp of foundational logic and all that, it's just a spectacle of insanity. And yeah.
Thank you.
Just sit back and enjoy the show.
Yeah, thanks. Appreciate that. Chocolate, what you eating, man?
Spaghetti.
I'm talking about.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Extra cheese.
Yeah, thanks. Now, you got any thoughts on this angular size of the sun and all the fallacies and the Polaris, and what do you think about that?
Me? Well,
I think it's
no, Chocolate. You're done.
Okay.
fine.
I'm done.
I love that question with the sun, because it's like, why are you even asking the question that the angular size does change?
Yep.
So the whole question is just like stupid from the gate. But even if you allow that it doesn't change, well, why does it matter? It's not actual size, not changing. It's not actual position as it moves to the sky. I mean, come on. It means nothing.
Yes, sir.
Especially
Nope.
because it happens. So just why don't you guys retire the question?
I remember back in the day, people were using Weldon helmets. Yeah. I remember all that stuff. I got a good check on it. Jose Mesa.
No comments. Maybe just the whole 1 degree for 69 miles. I like how that's been hammered out because that's a classic global argument. You know, like I used to go to gyms like early on in the years, and I remember that's like the one thing they would always repeat is how do you explain the sun decreasing 1 degree for every 69 miles? And it's very nice how you apply it to the Black Swan. You know, just destroys the whole globe model little by little. And if it doesn't, which it does, but if they claim it in one position and not another, you can see the contradiction. So it's lovely either way.
Yeah, exactly. Have you ever seen anyone they claim the proof. Have you ever seen any baller 90 degrees show a 90-degree measurement with Polaris directly 90 degrees above their head? Has anyone ever seen that?
No, of course not.
No. I mean, just with that, it's over. You can't use graphics and models and then say this is reality. No, you got to go do it. So we want to see when you make that claim, flat earthers, if you get challenged with this claim, pull up this video, right? And go step by step through it and have them show you those, even though it's a train wreck anyway from their Black Swan refracted horizon nonsense. You can stop right there, but where's the fun in that? You know, make them do it. Make them show it to you in reality is what I'm trying to say. All right.
Tell me if I'm wrong, but
go ahead.
1 degree every 69 miles doesn't give you a curve anyway. It gives you a slope.
Careful with that. Be careful with the slope calc. It doesn't matter anyway. Because you're not going to get it. The whole thing is dead right at their refracted horizon. You can't get accurate measurements. Every single measurement won't be accurate. It's the base. The base is a rubber ruler is what I'm trying to say.
I heard a very odd rumor, if I may for a second, that when you go further to the North Pole after a certain latitude, the angle by which the sky rotates as you go northwards starts to decline in how much it rotates. So you can attribute all kinds of weird presuppositional geometric conclusions from that, but I'm not going there. But it is like a weird little factoid that's kind of bumped into. And I don't know how much there is to it even. But that it was just conceived is, somewhat odd.
Hey, thanks.
Ever heard of it?
Yeah, thanks. Nope, I haven't heard that. No. Let me make a decision here. Do we want to go through this again? Let me check the time. Yeah, because I did present those two, so we got to have at least an opportunity for a rebuttal. So, Betty.
Yes. You want to have people talk?
Yes. But listen, guys. When Betty unmutes you, we want to hear what you have to say, but try to keep it concise. Okay, go ahead, Betty. You got the con.
Okay. Yeah. I'm going to dish short. I think that's Lemon Bird, maybe. You're unmuted.
Yes. The main thing with the Polaris thing and all these angles and the angular size of the sun, you'd expect an inverse relationship because when you get up higher, the horizon's further out, so stuff would tend to disappear due to angular size before it reaches the horizon. But as you get closer to the flat plane, the opposite would be true. The horizon would be brought in, and stuff that's high up, like the sun and other things, would maintain their angular size before setting early. Although there is evidence of the sun changing angular size anyway, you wouldn't expect it to change size by much when it sets early due to perspective.
Thank you.
Okay, and then we got Al-Biruni.
Albacore tuna.
I just got in here, so I kind of missed part of it. I apologize.
All right.
Okay. And Flat Earth Data, I think you're still unmuted.
Yeah, I just find it fascinating that when discovering Polaris, that I couldn't find any pictures from Zenith, and I found that quite astonishing. I was like, what? If there's a North Pole, why isn't there any photography, any video of a zenith position of it? So I was blown away by that, and I couldn't find one in the south either. And then until maybe a year ago, I was presented with a 360 ball image of the South Pole, and it was just like, this is the evidence they have. Wow, using a 360-degree camera to claim they're taking a zenith picture at the South Pole. This is just like, it's the desperation. That point was obvious to me. So.
Hey, thanks for being concise, Mac. Yep, go ahead, Betty.
We got JK38. You have any comments?
No comments. Keep doing what you're doing, John. Thank you.
Okay. We got someone else. It's called John Shelton. You have any comments or questions?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
I was put together like a logical argument about the horizon being refracted, as they claim.
Yeah, it's illogical.
Yeah, if refraction is light changing angles, then a refracted object should have a different angle. The horizon doesn't change angles, as proven by sextants and theodolites. Therefore, the horizon isn't refracted.
Fair enough. I'll have to review that. Is that all you got?
Yes, sir. That was about it. I just wanted to get that out there because when they first said the refracted horizon, I about shit myself.
Thanks, Matt. Appreciate that. Yeah. I wasn't ready for that. You caught me off guard. Jose. Oh, sorry, Betty. You're in charge.
No, Jose is good. Yeah.
No, I already went. You guys, I'm good.
We got Neil Cosentino.
Neil!
What's up, QE? Cosentino. Let's get it right.
Oh, sorry.
Now, I'm tired of all of these people with their Google searches to get information, and all they do is spit it out as it comes on the screen. Bunch of bullshit. Keep going, QE. I'm walking the dog, so I'm going to get hit with a gust of wind soon.
Okay, man. Thank you.
Yeah, they copy paste it and then try to attack you with it before they actually read into what they're using.
Yeah, that happens all the time. You're right.
Okay, and then we got Ravenous Brad.
Doing what you do, QE. I'm just here to chill, man.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Okay, we got Steve Arm here.
What's up,
You're
Steve?
muted.
Hey, everything's good. Hey, you guys. Hey, everything's good, QE. Thanks a lot, buddy.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you, Steve.
And we got the Rumpus again. And what he's got, right?
Give him his final 2 minutes.
No, he behaved pretty well. So go ahead.
Right. I mean, the fact you don't understand the Polaris argument is just incredible. On a flat Earth, following a line of longitude, you would get an arc-tan relationship. I could draw it for you, but I obviously can't draw in this stupid forum, in this Discord thing. But if you understood the geometry, you would understand that only on a sphere would you get the 1 degree change per 69 miles. Only on a sphere. So
Okay,
the fact
show
that
us.
you get that change, yeah, I can work it. I can show. If I can do, I can draw.
No,
so I draw
no. What did that? Stop him right now. Stop him, Betty. You put him on mute.
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
What?
How many times did I say this during the presentation with Polaris? That we not going to accept any drawings, any diagrams, any models. Now, you don't have to do it, Rumpus, We want somebody to do it. This is what I asked for. I'm going to tell you again. You need to actually support it. So A, you need to show the sextant with the built-in self-adjusting refractometer and the calibration certificate. That's A. B, we need to see one of the brain-dead ballers stand on the geographic North Pole and show us Polaris 90 degrees above their head. C, support at least 5 other points with a multiple of 69 miles from the geographic North Pole and the degree measurement. One must be at the equator. And D, I'm going to say this real slow. None of any drawings or images or graphics or harebrained claptrap models will be accepted. We work on the really is level. We want somebody to do it. Rumpus, it doesn't have to be you. We just want somebody to do that. I think it's reasonable. Not you, but you as the royal you have claimed it as BALLBUSTERS. We'd like to see it in reality. Betty, please take him off mute and see if he understands what I just said.
Right, but do you agree that the angle of Polaris changes by 1 degree every 69 miles?
No, I do not.
Along a line of longitude.
I do not.
Well, then you're disputing basic observations.
I'm sorry, you have not supported your claim.
No one disputes this of any set who's got
No
any
one
sense.
ever proved it.
Of course they have. If you to any observation of Polaris will show
Let's
this.
have them then.
Okay.
Said any observations? Let's have them. Let's have them then. Give them us.
I had to hand, but they do exist, and no
Haven't got
one,
them to hand.
no one with navigation disputes this. If you're
Hey,
denial of reality,
Could you look one up real quick?
2 words out. So you haven't got the observations to hand. In other words, you don't have the observations. Specifically, you've been asked to actually back this. Show somebody at the North Pole with Polaris directly above them, and then show at least a few measurements actually being done. Don't just tell us that it's accepted. We want to see it. Back your claim. Tell us it's accepted.
don't dispute this. Get them to take some pictures of Polaris from various latitudes, and they will show you that there's a 1 degree difference for every 69 miles.
Great. I've just asked you to show them, and you're telling me to go and take them. This is your claim.
Yes, and there's no one of any sense disputes this. Even flatties accept.
I don't want to hear it.
Polaris changes
Stop him, Betty.
latitude.
About how nobody disputes this. I've just said we want to actually see it, and his response to that is, you can go and take these pictures. So immediate burden of proof reversal fallacy.
Yep.
No, I'm not going to go and do anything. You can go and take them. You can prove your claim. Don't just tell us it's accepted. Prove it.
Yeah. Was there any?
But you wouldn't, yeah, but if I provided you evidence, you'd say,
No,
oh, you're not really
stop
at that
him.
latitude.
Stop him. Stop him. No, we don't want you to divine what we're going to say in the future. You don't have special Evo mind powers, right? All we're asking for, and it's quite reasonable, is support. Now, I went through each step. There was only 5. I'm going to put them on screen so everyone can see them one more time. Okay? Let's go back up here. This is what we're going to need. I'm going to do this last time. Please actually support your claim. A, show the sextant with the built-in self-adjusting refractometer and the calibration certificate. You realize you need that refractometer because of your previous claim of the horizon being refracted. So I'm going to need, A is very important. A is the first step. If you don't show me A, don't show me B, C, or D, because I need to see A. And it's very reasonable. B, we need to see a brain-dead baller stand on the geographic North Pole and show us Polaris 90 degrees above their head. That is a reasonable request for the claim. C, support at least 5 other points with a multiple of 69 miles from the geographic North Pole and the degree measurement. One must be on the equator. Again, very reasonable within your claim. And D, none can be images or graphics or harebrained claptrap models. They're not going to be accepted. We don't want any drawings for you to show us how it is geometrically. We work at the really is level. You need to see this in reality. From the panel, is this unreasonable?
No, not only is it not unreasonable, not only is it not unreasonable, it seems that Rumpus thinks this is extremely easy to acquire, based on his attitude. I'm going to charge him personally with it. The date is 2nd of May 2020. I'm charging Rumpus personally with providing us with this evidence, given how easy he thinks it is to make this and how easy it is for me to do it, even though it's not my claim. Given that it is his claim, I'm charging him personally with acquiring this actual data.
Go ahead, Rumpus.
Do this live. You could do this live in this hangout and get 5 people from different latitudes and see what their angle to Polaris is, and you would find it supports that evidence. You could do that yourself. And then no one disputes this piece of information.
It's your claim, and I'm charging you with it. So I want you going back your claim, evidence. Not me. I don't care what you think I can go and do to back your claim. I'm not going to do that ever. So on the 2nd of May 2020, I personally, Nathan Oakley, have set down a challenge to the Rumpus, given how easy he says it is for me to do it, him to do it, given that it's his claim. We're calling bullshit on this claim. He'll never do it. He'll never achieve it. It's not easy. He won't acquire it. He'll never demonstrate it. That's my personal challenge I'm laying down here for him to do it, not to reverse the burden of proof immediately for the 3rd time and say it'd be very easy for me to do it. If it's very easy for me to do it, and I'm not going to be because it's not my claim, it will be very easy for Rumpus to do it. And from this date forward, I will highlight the fact that he's told me how easy it is, and he's going to damn well do it to back his claim. I will hold him to it.
Thank you.
You do not the North Pole to make this claim supported by evidence. I can go, if you like, okay, I can get
So
some
you
globers
just
to
don't
do
need
this.
evidence for your claim,
Hold
really?
on, 4 seconds into my bloody answer. Right, I can go and get some globers at different latitudes to give you this data. But no doubt, the reason I mentioned you could do it was so that you wouldn't then dispute the evidence I could provide. So but I can go and get people at different latitudes to do this, and it will show this relationship that is well established.
Don't tell me what's well established. Go and get it. Yeah? I want to see North Pole directly above someone. I want to see someone flat on their back with a camera in their hand, taking a picture of Polaris. That's what I want to see. Don't tell me that it's not going to be needed. It's absolutely going to be needed if that's your starting reference point. So you better have the North Pole in your little bunch of shite that you present.
No, it's not needed at all to demonstrate the relationship.
It is. I just gave them to you.
Is needed. So already he's failed.
Yep.
But let me get this straight. This claim fails immediately. I don't even need to keep a timer. You can't do it.
You don't understand how to...
That's an ad hom. So I'll just make, 2 minutes after my challenge? You failed. You failure. You can't do this. You're a baller that just made out that it was really easy. Surely you listened. You're not a dumb idiot that doesn't listen to the stipulations that you're being challenged with when you turn the burden of proof around on me and say it's really easy to acquire. Suddenly you're weaseling out of how easy it is. That's absolutely pathetic, Rumpus.
The criteria applied by QE is irrelevant.
Oh,
really?
no, it's
Well,
not. Shut him down. Shut him. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I don't.
Period. Look, that's your claim. It's not our claim. It's a baller claim that you think proves a ball. Well, you can either go out and do it, or you can say it's not relevant, and I'll declare that you failed, you miserable little scrote.
Yeah. I had those criterion up. They're quite reasonable for the claim. You need to do it. If you don't do it, then you don't have a claim anymore. It's just that simple. Betty!
May I interject in oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. Who wants to interject? Keep it concise, please.
So just regarding the 1.22, it's funny enough that Rumpus is claiming the 69.169 miles per degree change for the circumference is 24,901 miles. So if it's an inversion of our reality globe model appears to be, it would still have a radius, it would still have a circumference, and it would have a diameter. This 1.22 is quite interesting because if I take 1.22 and turn it into radians, and then times it by 180 and divide it by 3.14, I get 69.9 degrees, which the 1.22 always leads back to that angular resolution limit.
Yep.
Oh, quite interesting.
Yeah, it's very interesting, and you are correct. Thank you. Thanks, Flat Earth Data. Appreciate that.
Was he chopping for you? He was chopping for me.
Yeah,
Maybe
Flat Earth Data. Yeah, he was just a little bit. Go ahead and jump out and jump back in for the next round. You're gonna love this one. Betty, any admin?
I just want to.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Nathan.
point was good enough to reiterate. So he's saying it always comes back to the angular resolution limit in the Rayleigh criterion when you back engineer the globe maths, both celestial and terrestrial observations. So there's no coincidence that it's tied back into perspective, and that was the point he was making. Very good point.
Yep. Outstanding. Betty.
Yeah.
I know you've been busy. Any admin?
No, there's no admin. No.
What?
No, that's well, maybe they are just good listeners now, right?
I can live with that.
Instead of just chatting.
I can live with that, guys. It's okay.
I have a thing with the. I know that they try to get you with the Polaris thing, and I think it's a perspective thing, right? But that's it, because when you go away from something, something goes nearer to the horizon. So I think that's that. But I thought that this also you could see Polaris or the Southern Cross near to the equator, whatever the equator is, right? And you could see both of them. Is that correct, or am I wrong in this?
Which one? Say that one more time, Betty. I missed that.
Yeah, I thought that you had the sailors back in the day where they could see Polaris and they could see, I think, the Southern Cross, right?
Yes.
Addison.
Yes, I do have that citation somewhere. It is. I'd have to dig it out. I think it's from the 13th degree south latitude. Both Polaris and the Southern Cross could be seen. Yes, I have that.
Yeah, so isn't that strange that if you can do that, right? But isn't that why they call it an oblate spheroid or whatever? Or pear shape? I don't know.
What do you mean?
They make a.
What do you mean, today or yesterday? Oblate. Somebody needs to tell NASA about that. Listen, my point was just this. I don't have a problem with the claim. I have the problem with the lack of support for it. Right? Now, if they want to do it, I put the criterion up there. It was quite reasonable. I felt the refractometer within the sextant was right on point because they're taking their measurements from where? Anyone?
But isn't that, you have that
refracted horizon?
They're taking their measurements from the horizon. In their previous arguments against the Black Swan, which is a train wreck, by the way, they claimed that the horizon's refracted. Well, you have to account for that refraction with the sextant. That is not an unreasonable request. It follows
but they don't do that.
perfectly.
Do they?
I'm sorry, Betty. Go ahead.
They don't do that with sextants, do they?
No.
No. They just measure stuff. Right?
Very small correction. There are definitely sextants with refractometers available. I've seen them on bullshit.com.
Do they have almanac go with it?
Yeah.
You do know that with a sextant you also need an almanac to sort of know your position and whatever. There is some sort of a formula to calculate this stuff.
Well, I didn't ask them for their almanac. I thought it was, like I said, they were up on screen. Thought they were quite reasonable. They weren't outlandish. They follow logically. I'm going to need to see that. Don't give me any of the drawings or models. Like I said, it's quite reasonable. They were up on screen. Everyone's seen them. If they could fog a mirror, they know they were reasonable. So.
But you said equator, and I didn't understand that because what's the equator?
Well, that's not my problem.
Oh, you claimed that it must be an equator, right? Because
go ahead, Nathan. Go ahead.
The question about the refractometer, is it acceptable to just plug 7/6R into the sextant?
Where'd they get the radius from?
I don't know, but is it acceptable to just beg the question on steroids and insert the refractometer with the terrestrial refractometer values?
No, because it's a circular banjo-do-si-do. They got the radius from the refracted horizon. From Al-Biruni, old Bubby upstairs that we clobbered already. You see the problem? It's a never-ending, convoluted circle jerk of a train wreck disaster. That's what it is. Everyone can see it. I hope you can see it. If you can't see it by now, if you're out in the audience and you can't see this, I'm sorry. You got bigger issues than whether the Earth is flat or a sphere or not. I'm sorry. That's what it is.
I got some admin now, by the way.
Go ahead.
Okay, I got some from Rakia Live. Stick your admin where the sun don't shine.
That's what he said.
Thanks, Rakia.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Rakia. Oh, Nathan, go ahead. You want to say something?
I said that's what your sister said, Dave.
I got another one from Brian's Logic, and he says, it's always delta X, but X is never provided or acknowledged.
Got that right. Thanks, Brian. You're exactly right. Stick on that. Stick. Don't let them breathe. Always confirm the X before delta X in any context. You got it. Kudos. All right. Anything else, Betty? We're going to roll on.
No, this is it.
All right. Mike Discipline, guys. So we got RPMs versus speed. This is dedicated to Mr. Natural Experiment Birds Humping, Gimp Panda, and Fight the Fat Girth. Gimp Panda has had this argument from day one. I tried to walk him through step by step, explain this to him. They just can't get it. I don't know what to say. You don't measure speed or rate by angular velocity revolutions. Next block of instructions, how to say the in the winter. It's all in the units of measure, folks. Speed equals distance per unit time. That's miles per hour, kilometers per hour. Whereas angular velocity is revolutions per unit time. That's RPS, RPM, RPD, RPW, RPM. Getting it? RPY. Distance equals revolutions like gazelle equals hubcap. It's just the clumsy, daft, muppet false equivalence fallacy, folks. RPMs are utterly irrelevant and meaningless red herring fallacy to the discussion. We're talking about tangential speed. You don't measure speed or rate by revolutions. Hello? All points on a rotating sphere have the same angular velocity. Duh. However, those same points don't have the same rate or speed or tangential speed. It's tantamount to exclaiming to Dale Earnhardt Jr. on a 50-mile track, "Why was your car smashed to smithereens, Dale? You were only doing one revolution every 25 minutes. Right? It's stupid. When they report the speed or rate of the cars race around the Brickyard 400, did they report it in RPMs? How about drag races like quarter mile? Since there are no revolutions, then according to the BALLBUSTERS Crayon Munchers logic, the dragster's speed or rate has to be 0. When a cop pulls you over for speeding, does he tell you how many RPMs you were going over the RPM limit? You think? To call this juvenile mind-numbing absurdity is actually insulting to juvenile mind-numbing absurdities. Oh, here comes a good one. The folk cult pendulum. Here we go again. Plusmaths.org. Once you set one in motion, its direction of swing will rotate at a rate of about 0.2 degrees every minute. But in fact, it isn't really the pendulum that's rotating. The pendulum is swinging back and forth in exactly the same direction. It's the Earth which is rotating underneath the pendulum, which makes it appear that the pendulum is in fact changing direction. What's this sound like? Huh? Does this sound like similar to the Coriolis effect? If it does, you're exactly right, because you got two different reference frames and you have an apparent deflection. Hello? If this is true, if this definition is true, then why couldn't we just hover in a helicopter in North Carolina for 3 hours and catch a Dodger game? Because if this is true, this is true. Number one is true. You're dead. Number two, if the Foucault pendulum is legit, which denotes two separate reference frames, like I just went over above, then a flight, I know you've heard this before, from Charlotte, North Carolina to LA nonstop, traveling at 500 miles an hour airspeed, with both locations roughly at 35th degree north latitude, that is, both allegedly spinning at 860 miles an hour, should be approximately 1.5 hours. But it's actually 4.5 hours. Charlotte to LA flight, airspeeds 500 miles an hour, ground speed 500 plus 860 mile an hour alleged rotation speed that's coming in your face because you're traveling west from North Carolina. The Earth's spinning underneath you, coming in your face. So you have to add those speeds. That's 1,360 miles an hour. Distance between Charlotte, North Carolina, and LAX is 2,115 miles. The flight time must be approximately 1.5 hours. The actual flight time is 4.5 hours. Does this 1.5 hour flight time ever happen? No? Then say bye-bye now to the BALLBUSTERS spinning space monkey religion. Let's go for a quick one. Neil deGrasse Tyson discussing Felix Baumgartner's 128,000 foot jump. So there's no observable curvature at 128,000 feet. Yet these ballers claim that there's observable curvature standing on the ground. Well, what's that? Something's not lining up here. See Clownly, etc. This is one of the more belly-laughing, slap-in-the-face contradictions out there. Is your clinical level Dunning-Kruger so virulent that you think even people that have trouble fogging a mirror don't see or recognize this? You clowns feebly then try to distance yourselves from the astrophysicist Neil Smoking deGrasse Tyson, but that dog isn't going to hunt here. He's unquestionably and unequivocally a spokesman, priest, a scientist in your world for your BALLBUSTERS spinning space monkey religion. So no throwing him under the bus. Okay? I like the next one. Questions, comments?
I'll just say I think that's my favorite one is the nonsensical pendulum that you have to set in motion in the first place, that they claim the Earth is spinning underneath while it's attached to the Earth, but they'll claim that we don't see this effect and we're not supposed to see it with planes that are 6-7 miles in the air that are flying against the rotation. We don't see that. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. It's a train wreck, like you like to say.
What are you talking about? Chocolate, don't planes fly backwards according to Danny T?
Oh man.
The Foucault pendulum, you know, it's just a device to make you imagine, to step away from the really is level for a moment and just imagine the Earth spinning underneath that. That's the only thing it really does. Other than that, it doesn't do anything.
Thanks, Arwen. Nathan.
It's the Earth turning underneath that gets missed off a lot of the description. So if you're a YouTuber and you get overhead commenters like I do, I'll say things like degrees per hour proves the Earth spins. And what they actually mean is a claim of a spinning reference frame of a ball Earth turning underneath the fixed frame of a gyro in the inertial reference frame at a rate of 15 degrees an hour. In other words, the Earth's turning underneath the gyroscope, or the Earth's turning underneath the pendulum, or in another Neil deGrasse Tyson example, when he's detailing a football that's kicked and apparently goes in a straight line, but from the stand seems to curve into the goal. Well, that's because the Earth's turning underneath, the goalposts are moving, the ball's traveling in it's like it's curving. Well, all of those examples have the Earth turning underneath. So for there to be a Coriolis effect, Earth's got to turn underneath anything that leaves the Earth. And that would include drones, helicopters, balloons, bullets, aeroplanes, anything. If you jump up and down, to have the effect. And like you say, Charlotte, North Carolina to LA would take an hour and a half. It takes about 4.5 hours. Why? Well, because the Earth isn't turning underneath.
Yeah, I stressed that part about it rotating underneath. Tangled webs they weave. All right.
Point if no one, I think.
You want to add something, Nathan?
Yeah, it's one of those that I still to this day get people moaning at me about the Netflix claim to be proof of a spinning Earth with the fiber optic gyro giving you 15 degrees. End of sentence from the claimant. Well, that exact claim is a claim of Coriolis effect. If anybody asserts that a flat Earth has proved that the Earth is turning with a fiber optic gyro or any pendulum, assert, as is the case, that if the Earth turns underneath a pendulum or a gyroscope, then it also turns underneath aeroplanes. It is that simple. That's the rebuttal to this argument. If the Earth turns underneath the gyroscope, it also turns underneath a drone and an aeroplane, and you have shortened flight times when traveling west. You can memorize that. That is the rebuttal to this argument.
Thank you, sir. Ready?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got one super chat for you, so I shouted that one out because it's sort of a continuation on the other one from Ricky Alive. He says, "Oh, and I forgot. My sister said Jose Gonzalez is biased and gets paid to censor."
Thanks, Rocky. Appreciate that, sir. Say hello to your sister. Let's go quickly down the list. Listen, everyone in the hangout, be quick about it. We have 2 sections left. I want to get there at sometime this evening. They're really good sections, so let's go. Betty, you got the con. Concise, please.
To the people that we already been to, or the new ones?
New ones.
Right. Okay. I got Lemon Bird or Dishwort.
That's fine.
You have something to say?
Coriolis effects, if there are any, just means something is spinning. Solid space can be spinning above the Earth, making the light slow down in one direction and the gyro speed up in the other direction, not the Earth. So it appears that solid ether space or 0-point space above the Earth is moving rather than the Earth itself.
Yeah. You trying to trigger me? Don't.
Well, space appears to have some sort of solidity to make the
it doesn't.
light go.
Stop.
Slow down in a
It doesn't
gyro.
have solidity. It's according to their story, it's a vacuum. It doesn't have solidity. No. So we're gonna move on.
He tried some ether placement.
Yeah. Albacore.
Alberica.
Sorry, man. It's just gonna be albacore tuna from here on out. But that is a nice name, man. Alberiqua. Did I say that correctly?
I think so. Yeah.
Yes, you did.
Love the name, man. Anything?
No comments.
That's
Appreciate
very short.
Flat Earth Data, concise, please.
He might be off the mic.
That's very concise. Thank you.
JK38, maybe something to add?
Only thing is, I feel like Neil deGrasse Tyson's been a good friend of ours with the whole that stuff is flat and then the whole football thing. Yes. Really, only thing I really had to say about what was just said. Keep on going, Kiwi.
Appreciate it, sir, and I will.
And we're going to John Shelton. With something to add? That's not a whole lot. Okay, we'll go to the next one. Neil again.
You skipped
I
Jose.
need-
Got it.
Wait, Neil, you skipped Jose.
Yeah, but he's part of the panel, right?
He hasn't said anything yet.
Yeah, but we can go back to him later. And let Neil talk. He's here.
Okay.
I think the dog has been walked now.
Yeah, I know Jose's your favorite, but let Neil talk.
Yeah, let Neil talk.
Like I was saying before, when Nathan pushed Rumpus to show some evidence, he couldn't. Show some citation, he couldn't. Google, see what it says on the screen, and spew it out of my mouth. I'm tired of the nonsense. As far as this other bull crap that they're talking about, that's just what it is. A bunch of baloney.
Well, tell us how you really feel.
That's it. I'm good. Continue with the lesson.
Ravenous. I like that ravenous part. Got ravenous Brad. Go ahead.
Yeah, you're muted.
So good, QE. Keep going, man.
Appreciate it, sir. I will.
And we got Steve on. You're muted.
Yeah, everything's good, QE.
Appreciate it, sir. Thank you, Steve. Go to Travis before you go to Rumpus.
Okay. Hi, Travis, you're mute. Ooh.
Oh, you're chopping bad, sir. Yeah, you're chopping bad.
Can you go and come back in? It might help for Discord.
You might want to post him a message. He might not be able to hear you. I don't think he can hear you. But that's okay. Rumpus, I'll tell you what, you've been pretty much behaved. This has got to be a record for you. But go ahead. On topic, please.
The lack of understanding of this relative velocity business of airplanes is just extraordinary. Now, the people who are getting confused about this, imagine you're on a train and you decided to run forward in the train or backward in the train, or you're in an aeroplane, let's say, and you decide to roll a ball along the aisle, up the aeroplane or back the aeroplane. Do you think the ball will roll in any different way going back up the aisle or down the aisle? Of course it won't. This is called Galilean relativity. So the idea that if you're an aeroplane and you're going west or east, it's going to make any difference suggests a fundamental lack of understanding of basic maths and physics. Quite extraordinary. You would not expect to see a difference. The speed with which an airplane, there's this constant reference by Nathan to about the Earth turning. The value that the Earth, the magnitude of the amount the Earth turns under something is defined by the velocity. So if you're in an airplane doing 500 miles an hour, you are moving with respect to the same point on the Earth at 500 miles an hour. There's no extra Earth turn that confuses Nathan and others. And
yeah,
then
that's right, because the
Coriolis
Earth's not
plot.
spinning.
There's no turn
It
at all.
doesn't make any difference, QE. It doesn't. Just
Well,
like in a
Rumpus,
train.
isn't the argument that the Earth is supposed to be spinning
Let me
underneath
just finish.
the plane?
Hold on a second.
Let me just finish. So, relative velocity of something is that if you're in an aeroplane and you decide to run up 10 miles an hour towards the front of the plane or towards the back of the plane, you're still only doing 10 miles an hour relative to the plane. Similarly, if you're an aeroplane that takes off from the Earth,
What does that have to do with the Earth
you're
spinning
still doing
underneath?
500, even if the Earth's rotating, you're
stop 'em.
still doing 500 miles an hour going east or going west. It
No,
doesn't matter.
no, it's not. You forgot about the Earth turning underneath.
The Earth could be rotating at 1,000,000 miles an hour. It wouldn't make any difference.
Make any difference to
Why
what?
are you arguing for the Earth not spinning underneath the
that's
plane?
not.
Because
Hold on a
it's
second,
supposed to be.
Arwen. 1 second. Just Chocolate and Rumpus. Go ahead, Chocolate.
Yeah, why are you arguing for the Earth not spinning underneath the plane? The whole argument is it's supposed to be, isn't it?
But the point is, you wouldn't notice it if it's spinning. So your claim.
So then, is that because it's not spinning,
You keep on
Rumpus?
saying,
Because that's supposed to be your argument.
It's spinning. You keep on saying we should
So
be
your
expected
argument
to
is
feel
that
it.
it is spinning, but we
Hold on a
shouldn't
second,
expect it to be
guys.
spinning.
Hold on.
You keep.
Hold on, Rumpus. Hold on. No one can hear anything. I'm going to stop you right now. You're saying that the person, that's not even the argument. You're saying the person in the plane will not notice the Earth spinning underneath? Yeah, okay. What does that have to do with pork bellies in China? The Earth is still, in your paradigm, spinning underneath the plane. If the plane is traveling west to LAX from North Carolina, and the person's in the plane going west, of course the person's not going to feel the Earth rotating underneath because he's not on the Earth. He's in the plane. What does that have to do with anything? That's not an argument. For goodness sake, sir.
It makes no difference that the Earth is spinning to cause it to change the flight time, which is what you claim is the case. No, it doesn't, because I've just explained to you.
You
in
didn't
an
explain
aeroplane,
it.
And you.
Okay,
let me try it again.
I'm not.
You don't.
No, you're not. I'm not wasting time on this. This has been explained to you by me personally greater than 50, 60 times. Nathan, I know, has taken you to the woodshed with this more than once. Nathan, how many times?
No, it doesn't. He's saying you wouldn't notice. The whole point of the claim that proves Earth spinning is that you would notice a Coriolis deviation. That's the proof that Earth's spinning. So when Neil deGrasse Tyson details the ball appearing to curve, that's you noticing it. The Rumpus's argument is you wouldn't notice. Well, then we wouldn't notice any proof of Earth spinning then. You need to notice. That's what the claim is involving. Noticing a claimed deviation. Apparent, because the thing that you're noticing with a deviation is actually traveling straight while you rotate underneath. If he's saying, well, you wouldn't notice, well, then what? We wouldn't notice any claim proof of Earth spin. Yeah, that's because there isn't any. Just leading in to justify why we don't have any deviation, why planes don't have a shortened duration with Earth turning underneath, to give you this claim to be apparent deviation, meaning you'd see it. Apparent deviation is the claim proof Earth spins. If you wouldn't notice it, it's not apparent. That's his argument. Useless.
No, it's not. No, it's worse than that. Hold on a second. Hold on. It's worse than that. He's saying the person in the plane traveling to LAX won't notice the Earth spinning. Of course he wouldn't. Who cares? That's not the argument. The argument is about the. That's what he's.
So that's him knowing how Coriolis effect works then, because if he's detailing somebody in the plane, that's got absolutely nothing to do with Coriolis effect.
Exactly.
It's an observed deviation from the ground, from the non-inertial spinning reference frame. So if he's going to make a claim about Coriolis effect at all, you need to have it observed from the spinning reference frame, not from the plane. That's got sod all to do with Coriolis. He doesn't understand Coriolis.
No, he doesn't. I don't want to waste any more time with it. You don't understand it at a fundamental level. Okay, what do we got?
Literally said you wouldn't notice it. So then why are we even arguing about it?
No, he's saying chocolate. No, he's saying that if you're in the plane from Charlotte, North, this is the last time I'm going to say this. He's saying that if you're in the plane,
I know what he's saying.
From Charlotte,
But
North Carolina,
he brought it back when I brought it back to what does that have to do with the Earth spinning underneath? He said, but you wouldn't notice it. Well, then what the hell are we talking about then?
yeah, it's
that's what I'm saying.
It's really stupid, and I don't want to go down that road anymore.
Yeah.
Betty, any admin before we rock and roll?
Yeah, we got a super chat from James Richard, and he says, "Rumpus, that's Rumpus saying something. What are you doing, James? James, drinking a beer, watching the horizon. Rumpus, which one?"
Good one. Kudos, James. Thanks, man. All right, we're gonna roll on this one. Mike, discipline. Last two sections. I'm gonna have to tell you, I put these last two in there because they're my favorite. This one right here, a tear comes to my eye because this is the second thing that I thought about after my conversion, which just took a plank. It was less than a plank time with the gas pressure without a container. This was the second thing I thought of. It had to do with the ISS. Immediately came to my mind, so I went and got all the information real quick, and I said, this is a train wreck of a megalithic disaster. Let me show you step by step. Nathan's going to hate me because, yeah, I'm begging the question. Yeah, I'm allowed to do it every now and again. Let me beg the question for him. I just love this one because it drives the stake in. So please humor me. So the thermosphere is home to the International Space Station as it orbits the Earth. Mike, discipline, please. From spaceplace.nasa.gov, the thermosphere is home to the International Space Station as it orbits the Earth. The thermosphere is directly above the mesosphere and below the exosphere. It extends from about 90 kilometers, that's 56 miles, to between 500 and 1,000 kilometers. That's from 311 to 621 miles above our planet. Okay, everyone's got that. The ISS is made out of an aluminum alloy. Mike, discipline, please. The ISS is made out of an aluminum alloy, 2219-T62. This comes from Robert Frost, instructor and flight controller in the Flight Operations Directorate at NASA. The most common material is 2219-T62 aluminum alloy. Most of the ISS structure is aluminum. In fact, the node modules were each made from single blocks of aluminum. So you guys are following me thus far, right? Aluminum 2219 T62 melting temperature is 1,010 degrees to 1,190 degrees Fahrenheit. You guys know where I'm going with this. I hope you do by now. From spaceplace.nasa.gov, the thermosphere lies between the exosphere and the mesosphere. Thermo means heat, and the temperature in this layer can reach up to 4,500 degrees Fahrenheit. The aluminum 2219 T62, again, melting temperature, 1010 to 1190 Fahrenheit. Thermosphere, 4,500 degrees Fahrenheit. The problem, spinning space monkey, because it's a big one. The heat in the thermosphere is due to solar radiation. Yeah, it's cool up there because there is little or no convection due to the sparseness of the gas molecule. Listen, people, I'm inside their paradigm. I'm inside the walls of their paradigm. You have to understand this. Okay? So the heat in the thermosphere is due to solar radiation. Like I said, yeah, it's cool because there's little or no convection due to the sparseness of gas molecules. We got it. Understood. But the ISS isn't made of gas molecules. It's made out of aluminum. You got conduction. Do you know the 3 types of heat transfer? Por favor. You see, those sparse molecules up there are getting all their kinetic energy from solar radiation. We're not saying the ISS is getting hot from convection with those molecules. We're saying that ISS is smoking because it's receiving the same solar radiation that's making those gas molecules go nuts. Are you following me? That ISS is getting bombarded by the full spectrum of solar radiation, including X-rays, extreme UV, galactic cosmic rays, auroral particles, and solar protons, all of which we are protected against via the atmosphere, according to their story. Like I said, this is from their alma mater wiki. The thermospheric temperatures increase with altitude due to what? Absorption of highly energetic solar radiation. So that big hunk of metal up there is going to absorb the exact same radiation. Are you following me? From sciencing.com, the source of the thermosphere's heat is radiation emitted by the sun. Duh. The thermosphere absorbs much of the radiation that the Earth receives from the sun, leaving only a fraction to actually reach the surface. Ultraviolet radiation, visible light, and high-energy gamma radiation are all absorbed by the thermosphere, which causes the few particles present to heat up considerably. Yes, that's what we're saying. No problem. We're not saying that the ISS is heating up by convection. We're saying it's getting heated up by direct radiation. You're done. It's over. And then the only thing you can appeal to, I had a couple people do this. After you corner them, right, with this, because it's a they're finished. You're going to start getting some names thrown at you. With these belly laughers, they invariably bring up shielding and reflectors. The ISS is powered by solar arrays. They are made from purified silicon. From NASA.gov. The solar arrays that convert energy to electricity on the International Space Station are made of thousands of solar cells made from purified chunks of the element silicon. These cells directly convert light to electricity using a process called photovoltaics. Guess what I'm going to bring up next? I know it's a shocking surprise. Silicon melting point is 2,577 degrees Fahrenheit. Remember, the thermosphere gets to 4,500 degrees Fahrenheit. So, any claim of shielding or reflectors is horsepucky because you don't shield solar arrays. Kaboom. How you like me now? This is all just nonsensical, whistling past the graveyard anyway. Every single one of their claims about space is a violation of the second law of thermodynamics. How you like that? That's your line. I put that in there for you, Nathan, because I know you're disappointed. Right? I had to do it because it's one of my first loves. And this one. This is hilarious. I put the substance of this interview into the description of this video. It's the last thing. So hit the description. It's the last link. Okay? This is absolutely hilarious. And probably many people forgot about this if they even watched it. But I showed this to my daughter and it was all over for her from this point. Ready? Question. What does the sky look like from space? Neil Armstrong, Apollo 11. The sky is deep black as viewed from the moon as it is from cislunar space, the space between the Earth and the moon. Edgar Mitchell, Apollo 14, who must not have got the memo. You have to realize that in space, without the intervening atmosphere, the heavens are 10 times as bright, stars 10 times luminous. Perfect consistency, guys. Way to be on the same sheet of music. We're not done yet. Have you met the Hatfields? Chris number 1 and Chris number 2. Chris Hadfield, the ISS commander. This was from an interview from the ISS. The sky is almost white with the light of the universe, with the uncountable number of stars. You can't see the constellations because the sky is just so alive with stars. Chris Hadfield number 2 post this ISS mission. What you see is an immensely deep blackness. It's like a black with texture. It's a palpable blackness. Not just a blackness, but a powerful blackness with black velvetness, but textured without any shininess forever. Are these two different Chris Hadfields? Thanks, guy. I appreciate that. My daughter looked at that and started laughing her butt off. With cause. James Riley, astronaut. Billions and billions of stars, and you can see them. In fact, they're so numerous, it's very difficult to pick out the constellations that you and I see here on the ground. Some of the stars have color we don't see on the ground. you see these pastel colors, light yellows, light pinks, light oranges, even light red ones, and light blue. There's all kinds of colors. I live in Colorado, and when you get up in Colorado on a clear night up in the mountains where there's no light, you can see all these stars. Well, multiply that by 1,000. That's what it's like in space. Tim Peake, interview from the ISS. The most unexpected thing was, the blackness of space. Perfect consistency. Have you two guys met the Chris Hatfields? And the last bozos, Mike Massimino and Don Pettit. Mike, you can see the stars. Oh, yeah. Mike, pretty much all the time you can see the stars. Don, yeah. It's not a black void. There's more stars you can see. There's more than stars. You can see planets. You can see moons. You can see the zodiacal lights. Mike, whoa, the lights of the zodiac? Mike and Don, have you two bozos met Neil, the sky is a deep black Armstrong, and or Chris, a powerful blackness Hadfield #2? Folks, the Keystone Cops, Abbott and Costello, and Mr. Magoo are blushing. Bye-bye now, bozo ballers. Thanks for your ear. Have a nice day. Questions, comments?
Is that the last? I thought there was one more thing.
No more sections.
Cool. Very good presentation. Summarized all of the typical ballhead arguments we have coming our way. Of them, as you dropped in at the end, could have been demolished without any discussions of whether or not the thermosphere is heating up a tin can in a thermodynamic violation. There we go. You dropped it in at the end, so I've not really got any grounds to grumble.
I knew you wouldn't like it.
Yeah, it was good.
I agree with stepping into their paradigm every now and then, because you have to crush their paradigm, you know. Like I'm for with like what you did today with you real fight a little bit, went into their space, but sometimes you need to do that with certain people just to stab them with a knife and just twist it a little bit more.
Yeah, I have no problem with it because these are the certain things, especially with this last part I love with the astronauts and all their double speak. Because even before I got into flat Earth, it was their double speak that made me realize how full of shit NASA really is, and that all the nonsense that they're saying is just ridiculous because it's double speak. How does one guy see the stars and the other one's talking about a deep black? I mean, get your story straight. And these are the things that got me into flat Earth before learning the true arguments of how this nonsensical second law thermodynamics violation is debunked because it just can't exist. So I don't know. I love this shit, especially with these. You can see stars and the zodiacal lights. I mean, what the hell? These are the heroes people look up to. They can't even get their story straight. So yeah, I liked it. It was a good presentation, QE.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite presentations. I'd have to say. I'm always going to go back to this. I'll add and take away from it as needed. But this is, I have to admit, it's one of my favorite presentations.
The reason they're contradicting.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Nathan.
There's a reason they're contradicting themselves. It's because space isn't real. They can't go there, so they can't keep their story straight because the place they're describing is an imaginary place that none of them have been. That's why they're contradicting themselves. And I want to do a plug. Dilly Gill, Dillygil. He is, as far as I am concerned, the best debunker of the stage performance that is NASA. Doing all sorts of FOIA requests to get information disclosed in terms of original recordings, and he's showing what a shambles that is when he does actually get those requests fulfilled. Dillygil. That's Dilly Gill. Check him out if you want to see actually exposed. If you want to work within this idea that there is a space and they're in it, then he shows you how they're definitely not. Ultimately speaking, this is all debunked by pointing out that you can't have gas pressure without a container. If the sky was a vacuum, the gas we breathe would fill the space.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Can I add some history real quick? So another thing that I like to look at for the ISS is like thinking about like angular resolution, right? They say that the ISS is about the size of a football field, and we know like how big it is. We know how much the solar panels are, the gaps between. Now, people that are into this whole angular resolution, like I'm sure Flat Earth Data can figure this out. Why don't you plug that in, with the dimensions of the ISS and try to see if a P900 could resolve the gaps between the solar panels and try to figure out if that works or not. And I'm pretty sure it won't.
Yeah, Nathan's not going to be happy with you because you're starting to beg the question with us or with me. I've been dogging people out for the past 3 years for begging the question, and what do? Yeah, but like you said, I have to agree with you. In some instances, I'm going to pseudo justify this. In some instances, it's appropriate to go there, like when I do it. But if for anyone else, don't do it. How about that?
So can I beg the question now?
Yeah, go ahead, Arwen. Mike's yours.
Cool. So yeah, I can conspiracy theorize presuppositionally as to why some astronauts would see bright stars and why others would see a black sky. But it would depend on if the astronauts would give the contrasting testimonies when going on the same trip. Then it would become pretty surreal. But since there is supposedly even atmosphere up until the moon, then it might be that that they are mistaken, that actually you do see stars because of the atmosphere, and then some points going around the moon or whatever, it might be not thick enough so that you would see all black, and that at other points you might actually will see stars. This is, of course, when you actually look at the data, this concept completely unravels, but
you look at the
I'd like
data.
to speculate.
Yeah.
You're directly
But some of them use stars to navigate. So how do they do that if they couldn't see the stars?
Yeah, but they just presuppositionally calculate it and then shoot it.
No. You can get audio footage of them describing the star charts they use to navigate to the moon.
Exactly. So deep black, how does that work out? And Mr. Neil Armstrong himself went to the moon and back, right? Supposedly in their bullshit narrative. So deep black?
Well, they would be at the dark side of the moon in the dark, basically, for a while.
And Owen, I'm going to do it to you, Chocolate, because Jose's now dodged the bullet because you've done it. Sorry, where was the journey taking place in again?
Yeah.
Around the ball.
I think it was in a vacuum.
Vacuum. No, we don't need to worry about anything else beyond the fact that they couldn't possibly have traveled to the moon as they claim it is, because their journey took place in a sky vacuum, second law of thermodynamics violation. Just another quick question for Jose. Maybe he hasn't dodged the bullet. The ISS. Where do you want to calculate the angular size for it? Just a quick question. Where is that exactly?
In a unified place that doesn't exist.
Gradient. It's in the gradient.
In space, by any chance?
Mostly down, though.
It's in the gradient. Less air pressure.
No. Hold on, Arwen, Chocolate, and even I'm going to shut up. Nathan and Jose, we want to hear this.
Where is the ISS again?
In a place that doesn't exist called space.
I don't think we need to worry about the angular size of it. It's claimed to be in a place that isn't real. I mean, I know there's a light in the sky. I've no idea what it is. I'd love to know what they're saying. That light in the sky is in a place that isn't real. I'm not too worried about the angular size anymore. It's fake. The place that they say their high wire actonauts are, they're definitely not in space.
Hey, Jose, you're welcome.
Oh yeah, no problem.
Right, and while we're at it at celestial phenomena, how could I have seen like falling stars going diagonally upwards? How does that work?
Mostly
in
down.
the physical cosmology, basically, of how that's supposed to be happening.
Mostly down.
It's mostly down,
What?
correct?
No, it was definitely upward.
Doesn't matter. Mostly down.
That's just a gas. This was actual light, and it went upward. So I wonder, like, how was it burning up in the atmosphere, moving from down up? Like,
Don't
what?
understand. While it appeared to go up, it was mostly going down.
So it was going down around the curve towards me.
Are you getting it?
Damn it! Don't do that. Yeah, but
Okay.
I actually did see this, and it was weird.
All right. Any comment on the melting? No one mentioned anything about those melting temperatures. Is it that much of a slam dunk?
Where were those solar panels again?
I don't know. Somebody else brought that up. That was Jose.
Kiwi, come on, you can't dodge this. Where did you say those solar panels that was maybe melting, maybe not melting? We could argue about it all day whether or not they're melting, and if they are melting, a place that doesn't exist, then you win. And if they're not melting in a place that doesn't exist, you lose. Is that how it works?
Yeah, something like that.
What if I brought forth an alternative conceptual theory about
No, we're gonna wrap up.
about
No alternative.
the idea of the thermosphere?
No,
because I think that is a misconception.
no,
It's not actually what people think it is.
A show to plug.
no. We got to round out here. We got to go through the people, so we don't. It's getting around that time. So Betty.
Yep.
Any admin?
No admin.
What in the world?
People doing other stuff, chatting, listening, whatever.
That's fine. They're okay. So let's go run through the panel one time. Now remember, we're on topic, right? We're talking about the melting temperatures of the ISS and the materials of the ISS and their associated melting points and the temperature of the thermosphere. And we're going to talk about the absolute doublespeak of these astronauts. Okay? That's the topics. 2 topics.
Astronauts.
Yeah, astronauts. Not.
Well, they are acting, so. Okay, yeah, let's start with Al-Biruni.
Yeah, it's the doublespeak is something the globers suffer from. I mean, you could see Rumpus with the yes, we do have a a curve. No, we don't. The horizon is leading edge or not, and then I mean, you got to go all the way up to them, the top-notch astronauts that say, "Yep, it is black, but it's not." That's one of the things that got me always like baffled when I seen those videos, and you bringing it up is just so amazing, awesome presentation. And yeah, that's another thing. The temperature when I looked at all the things they say out, the temperature in the thermosphere, exosphere, and I'm like, okay, so how did the when they launched the shuttle up there, how the hell?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, no, great presentation.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, great, John. It's fantastic as always. And yeah, it blows my mind that a lot of these globers go to the footage, right? The wide-angle footage of all the beautiful curve, and it's in space. It's in outer space, completely negating how does a camera work at minus 150 or plus 150.
That's another thing.
Degrees Celsius.
That's a great point. What's the problem with that?
Well, how does radiation affect the film, affect the sensor? Obviously, there's degradation to the effective films, even at a digital state versus an analog.
I'm not saying that. What's the problem? See, here's another little fiasco. That they said that it was 200 degrees when they're up there doing their little thing. It's 200 degrees in the sun and 200 degrees in the shade. How can that be if they're in the thermosphere? We're not talking 200 degrees, people. Has anyone caught this? Is it just me?
Well, I always researching satellites or whatever, Google Loom and the sensors they have on board. You're using these 8-bit infrared type sensors, maybe two optical, and the rest are all electromagnetic frequencies and waves, right? So it's like, how are they working these gadgets at these temperatures? They don't work. Minus 160?
No, that's what
you're gonna have it.
No. That's what I'm saying. 161. That's the wrong number. What the temperature does the thermosphere get to?
Last I checked, it was between minus 150 degrees Celsius, right?
No, I just went through a presentation and told you the thermosphere can reach temperatures up to 4,500 degrees Fahrenheit.
Oh wow, no, I didn't get that far. No.
Yeah, that's just what I'm talking about. People,
I'm looking at the elevation of. Well, they're saying what 260 miles the ISS rotates in.
Yeah, that's the thermosphere.
Right, that's the orbital path. Yeah, okay. So yeah, I was thinking about passing through into the thermosphere. It's minus 150 degrees Celsius. They have to go through that first. Yeah, that's what I've looked at. I don't know. I have to go back and look at it again. But it's like even for electronics to pass minus 150 degrees Celsius alone, the battery, the electrical currents alone at minus 150. Show me anywhere on Earth that works. Minus 150.
I hear you, but they're just making those. They're making those numbers up because it's contradictory. If they're in the thermosphere, it's a why. I gave you the distances, right, of what the thermosphere is. It extends from. It starts at 90 kilometers. That's 56 miles, to between 500 and 1,000 kilometers. So it's from 56 miles to 621 miles up. That's the thermosphere. So
well, good luck getting anything with plastic, machine parts, anything with an electrical current going through it at those temperatures and those erratic changes. Good luck. I've never seen anything in practical demonstration. Even working up in the Arctic in the cold mines there, or the minus 60 in the Arctic there in the diamond mines. These machines break down in minus 60, and you're telling me you're going to have a digital camera take beautiful images at these elevations? It's crazy.
You're gonna get into trouble with Nathan here. You brought up a good point. They keep on bringing up these 200 degrees and in the sun and minus 200 and no. Not if they're in the thermosphere. That's a contradiction because I got it right from NASA what the temperature profile is. Now, it can reach up to 4,500, but it's pretty damn hot up there. I think the average is like 3,000 degrees Fahrenheit. So it's a good point. Thank you for bringing that up.
It seems that they're heavily reliant on that for a proof, right? And the suspension of disbelief for them to use that proof is a major problem for me to accept it as proof, because they're claiming that this particular instrument they're using is capable to work in these conditions, and I've never seen any evidence of that on Earth.
They're double speaking.
I'm gonna have to stop you.
Yeah, you got to stop us. I knew it wouldn't take you long.
Done. Right, this is a fascinating conversation. However, let me just point something out. Say you have an argument with a globehead about whether or not the cameras would work in this place that doesn't exist, and you win, and it's proven beyond all doubt that the camera cannot work those temperatures in this place that does not exist. All that you'll achieve to an audience's perspective is that you've argued about whether or not a camera will work in a place that doesn't exist. So everyone's still under the firm understanding at the end of the argument that space is real, but the cameras may or may not work there. So I'll ask you this. Cameras that may or may not work, depending on the temperature of this place that doesn't exist, where are they again exactly? Where are these cameras?
I love when the voice goes, where are they?
Well, that's the whole benefit of a suspension of disbelief, man, is they have no practical example here on Earth, right? So
yeah, no, not on Earth. The cameras were worried about whether or not they'll work. Where are they situated precisely in their narrative?
Vacuum.
In space? That's a shame. That's a problem now, isn't
it? Yeah. Point taken, Nathan. You're exactly right. I got you. Hey, thanks a lot, Flat Earth Data. A lot of good points, man. Betty.
Yeah. I got JK38.
Good.
You off mute?
Yeah. Only thing I wanted to ask QE was, have you ever had a GlobeTARD try to justify the astronaut double speak?
We might get some. Just hold on, because Rumpus is down here on the bottom. We want to get his take on what those astronauts.
Yeah, yes, that'd be lovely.
I
That's all I
haven't.
gotta say.
They've all diverted away from the topic. I haven't. What can you say? I mean,
exactly.
But it'll be fun. We're gonna listen to that. So don't skip Jose. I think he might have something else to say. Thanks, JK.
Yep.
Okay, and then you want to add something?
Jose, you want to add something there, brother?
Nah, I don't want to go to space. I don't want Nathan to chew me out.
Yeah. I was trying to set him up again. Good on you, Jose. I'm guilty just as you. Go ahead, Betty.
Yeah, Neil, are you there?
I'm here.
Okay. You want to add something?
Yeah, these meatballs that said they went there. Okay. If I went to the moon and came back, I would have been going bananas. I went bananas the first time I was on a Nathan Oakley show. So, these guys, they're sitting there all solemn and like they stole freaking their mother's money. My son tells me they're like that because they had to go in quarantine. I don't care. When I come out of quarantine, I'm going to be going crazy. I went to the freaking moon.
So, Neil, so these depressed astronauts, where did they claim they went again?
Okay, wait a second. The heliocentric model can't get there. But the way I believe the Earth is, you can, because that's all inside the firmament.
That's fascinating, but in their narrative,
Correct.
in their narrative, right? I'm just pointing out that we could argue all day about how depressed they seemed after coming back from the moon, and that's perfectly valid. But their journey took place in a second law of thermodynamics violation, so we don't really need to dissect how depressed they were. The place they claimed to go was fake.
That's true. But that's in the heliocentric model.
Neil, you ain't going to win this.
I'm right, though, right? According to let's say what the Bible says inside the firmament. That means the sun, the moon, the stars are there, right?
No, we can't do that, Neil. We have to stay within their paradigm, not any other paradigm.
No fair.
I can argue about the secret moon program as well, if you want. You want to argue about the secret moon program? I can do that.
No, I don't think they went there. I just like having a little fun with it. But yeah, keep it going. I'm still listening.
Thanks, Neil. Appreciate it.
Sorry, where's there exactly?
Over there where the sun is. The other side.
May I interject for comical relief for a second? It's quite interesting. It's quite interesting when you get into a heated debate with a glober, and if you're just toying with them a little bit or having fun with them, and you stop and you say, "Hey, listen, man, do you believe in aliens with super space technology?" It just to me, when you throw that in there, because they throw so many ad homs. Where's your dome? Where's your sky wizard? Blah blah blah, right? But it really, really puts it in perspective when you ask them about aliens and super space technology. So I thought it was quite funny about the secret moon bases conversation. Because that actually goes on. It actually goes on. It blows my fucking mind.
Yeah. It won't last too long with Nathan.
Start asking them about their little green men, right?
Exactly. Do you believe in aliens with super space technology? They can come and probe you when they want.
That belief, if you're a heliocentrist, I've got to point that out as well, that you may not be aware of. If you're a globe believer, so facto, you are an alien believer now. Statistically, there's a mathematical equation that can justify this on your globe side. Aliens are a fact in the heliocentric model. They're a statistical certitude. Therefore, whether you like it or not, you're an alien believer if you're a heliocentrist. I find that quite amusing.
Yeah, but that equation stated that there isn't a chance, if I'm not mistaken.
Encountering them.
Yeah, I can't remember because it's so. I can't remember the name. It starts with. Does it start with an F? Yeah.
I think the opinions are divided in the field
I'm pretty
about
sure it's the Drake equation,
The
isn't
Drake
it?
equation, that's it.
That's the one.
That said D. Yeah, it's nonsensical buffoonery. We don't need to go down that route. Who is it?
Next.
Ravenous Brad.
Yeah.
Back to me again? Oh,
Yeah.
man.
Mhm.
No questions, just one comment. Super impressed with you, QE, Nathan, Betty. You guys did a good job.
Appreciate that, sir. Steve.
Okay, and now Steve on.
Huey, you and Nathan just don't understand. This is not ordinary aluminum. This aluminum was made with kryptonite.
Yo, yeah. That was that, every single response he's had, that's what he started out with, that we don't understand. Remember the 5 saviors I went over the other day with the photosynthetic redneck? That's one of them. But that was a good one. Thanks, Steve.
Thanks, Huey.
Travis seems to be on mute. Am I getting that right?
Yeah. Yeah, he's just listening, and that's it.
All right, the last one. We want to hear it. Rumpus, like I said, you've been pretty well behaved so far.
One from the chat that says what did he say? He wanted to ask this question, and I know I got Nathan on my back with this one. What kind of air conditioners do they have on the ISS that cools down 400 degrees of temperatures?
400.
Who would those exactly?
Exactly. I would like to have such a air conditioning that could at least knock off a lot of these degrees, right? They usually get to 2 degrees, 4 degrees, maybe.
It doesn't get that hot in the Netherlands, for crying out loud.
You to where I live.
I want to hear specifically what Rumpus has got to say about the contradictions from the astronauts, and then hopefully you'll let me plug my show that starts in 5 minutes afterwards.
Astronauts. Get it right.
Yeah. Go ahead, Betty. Let him go.
Oh,
we don't understand.
All right, you don't understand the difference between temperature and heat. So the fact that there's a temperature up there of 4,000, what it is in centigrade, not in Fahrenheit, that is because there are only very few molecules up there. It's like being hit by sparks. The sparks that come off something like a lathe are very, very hot, but they hit you and they don't have any effect on you because they're just so, the heat capacity in them is so small. Similarly with the molecules in the thermosphere, there are so few of them that when they hit the space station, they might be at a temperature.
Did you listen, Rumpus? You're not listening to the presentation. I already went over this. I'm not claiming that the ISS is getting hot through convection. I already went over that. I stressed it 3 times. What do? You say, yeah, the ISS is not getting heated up by convection. We already know that. Thank you. Appreciate it. My word.
But you're claiming that there's a temperature in the molecules around the ISS that are 2,000 degrees C or something. So it's conduction, not convection.
Oh my God. Stop. I can't do it.
I've just got one question for him.
Go ahead.
Question? Can you take him off?
Go ahead. Yeah, I'm not. Go ahead.
Because when you said up there, where's up there exactly?
In space, where the ISS is, and you can confirm this yourself, Nathan.
Yeah.
You can Nathan, you can confirm that the ISS is in space yourself by doing some trigonometric calculations to work out its height, and you'll find it's well above the atmosphere, well above the Kármán line. And people have done this, including Reds Rhetoric and others. You yourself can confirm the height of the ISS, and you can demonstrate it's above the atmosphere. You could do that if you were inclined to do so.
Good question then, Rumpus. No, see, you say above the atmosphere, and it's beyond the Kármán line, an arbitrary assigned position where the atmosphere ends. Why is the atmosphere not escaping into that vacuum? If the sky was a vacuum, the gas would fill the space.
No, it wouldn't. Gravity.
The gravity as a force was superseded over 100 years ago by bending of conceptual pseudo-Riemannian force space, length, breadth, depth, and time. concepts, mathematical constructs, won't give rise to any forces. How much you think about them. I know you're being directed by people like George Musa to think about them as though they're forces, but thinking about maths doesn't give rise to a force. And the gases, which are all produced at ground level, they go up, mostly going down, go boom, boom. The sky was a vacuum, the gas would fill the space. Unfortunately, the place that these aim to be heating up or not is irrelevant, because the place they're claiming this tin can in the sky is second law of thermodynamics violation. Outer space is fake. The sky was a vacuum, natural law, the second law of thermodynamics, the entropy law, they're one and the same thing, Rumpus. Gas would fill the space. The sky is definitely not
on
a
the
vacuum.
scale. The force you experience on the scales in your bathroom is also the force that's subjected to the atmosphere. And
that would be a force of something with mass that's not randomly and freely traveling in all directions. I put something on my scale, it only travels down. Gas expands in all directions. And most of the gas cycles, they're all produced at ground level and working their way up. Definitely not down towards your scale. Bubbles evaporate and work their way up. Down go boom boom with gravity. That's nonsense. The opposite in terms of the gas cycles. Starting at ground level, working their way up. Do you think you get gas at the top of Everest? Not working its way up. There's not much vegetation and evaporating up there. Obviously, there's still gas there, though, because it's worked its way up, down, with any force, not with gravity, and not with the bending of pseudo-Ramonian force space. So, yeah, the gas would fill the space if the sky was a vacuum. Space is fake, Rumpus.
gas molecules are moving at about 5,000 miles an hour in the atmosphere. Imagine
in all directions, up, including up. So at 5,000 miles an hour, I pretty much expect them to hurtle on past these spaceships. If the spaceships can go into this area, then the gas at 5,000 miles an hour is definitely going to be able to go into it, isn't it? There's nothing to bounce off. The Kármán line isn't a barrier. So if they're going at 5,000 miles an hour, they're going to go into that sky vacuum pretty rapidly, aren't they? And we'd be at 10 to the minus 17 torr at sea level.
up at 5,000 miles an hour, get up to the upper reaches of the atmosphere.
And you think it just stops? No, it'd keep going into space. It would fill that space, the sky vacuum, that is. With all due respect, Rumpus, I've got a show
It would
started.
slow down just like a ball would. It would get up to the top of the atmosphere and then fall down just like the atmosphere.
Fall down? You think gas suddenly changes direction and falls down when it's going 5,000?
Wow.
Gas doesn't stop, doesn't take off its bra and burn it in rebellion of gas law. If it's traveling at 5,000 miles an hour, it's going to continue. It doesn't fall down, go boom, boom, because you've got this idea of a 100-year out-of-date force pulling it back again. It's traveling at 5,000 miles an hour. What the hell's going to make it go down, go boom, boom? Well, nothing. In fact, if it reaches the thermosphere, if that's claimed to be true, it's going to be given a massive amount of energy to speed up. Isn't it, Rumpus? It's not going to slow down, go boom, boom, back to Earth. It's going to heat up and then go even faster.
If you fall up at 5,000 miles an hour, it would eventually come down.
If it's at 5,000 miles an hour, eventually going to go the opposite direction. That makes absolutely no sense whatsoever.
Just like a molecule, if you threw that up at 5,000 miles an hour.
What's the mechanism?
That's... Throw a molecule. Hold on. You don't throw molecules up in the air like balls. It sounds like you think gas behavior is like bouncy ball behavior. What goes up must come down. Like if you throw a bouncy ball up in the air, it'll have to come back down. Gas doesn't behave like that. It has to hit something, come back down again. If it's traveling at 5,000 miles an hour and hits the thermosphere, it's just going to go even faster until it hits something. That's what creates pressure, it pressing on something. If there isn't anything to press on, it's just going to fill the available volume. It's just going to fill the space. We wouldn't have any gas to breathe. The sky was a vacuum. So it would all sod off at thousands of miles an hour. There's nothing for it to hit and come back again. So it would fill the space if the sky was a vacuum. It's not. Space is fake. So we don't need to argue about what the ISS is doing and whether or not it's heating up. It's claimed to be in a fake place because we wouldn't have any gas if that place was real. If this tin can make it up there, the gas going at 5,000 miles an hour can damn well get there too. And it would keep going because there's nothing to bounce off. Kármán line's not a barrier.
A ball doesn't need to bounce off anything to come back, Nathan. You're
not talking about balls. You equivocate between balls, which are solids, and gas, which aren't solid. They don't come back down. Not solid. Gas behavior isn't the same as solid behavior. It's not a ball. Molecules of gas are not bouncy balls, you moron. Are you stupid? Do you think that gas behaves the same way as a ball?
Exactly, that's right.
No, it doesn't exactly behave. It behaves totally different. Balls and gases don't behave the same. Not exactly, completely different. Oh, you're stupid. You don't understand the difference between gas behavior and solid behavior. A ball's solid. We're talking about gas, so I'm done with him. That's the end of the conversation. He's a moron. He thinks the gas goes up and then comes back down again. No, that's definitely not how gas behaves. It expands to fill the available volume it has to fill. If space is a volume that's available for the gas to fill, it will fill it. That just means that we don't have a sky vacuum. Space is fake. Because if it was real, the gas would expand in all directions at high velocity to fill the volume available to it. Space is an available volume in your nonsense world of sphere. No, space is just fake. Just tune into Nathan Oakley channel for Flat Earth Debate Uncut and After Show starting now. Be here or be
Hey, Nathan, would it be safe to say, ask Rumpus, what causes gas to expand in all directions? Would it be dissipation, dissipation or entropy or gravity? What would it cause? Right? What would be the cause of the expansion? Would it be gravity or dissipation? The entropy of the natural law. That's what I mean. So he's like, he's not looking at the fundamental how gas actually dissipates and what the cause for it is.
The gas molecules behave just like balls. That's why they are got 5,000 miles an hour. They've got. Hold on, let me answer. Let me answer.
What causes the dissipation? That's all I want to know. I don't want any other answer. What causes the dissipation for the gas?
The velocity, just like a ball's velocity.
So velocity is the cause of dissipation. You're a fucking moron, dude.
Hey, watch it. No F words.
It's just that gas behaves like balls. No, it doesn't. If you trust in Rumpus, you're going to be as stupid as he is. Gas expands, and it's moving freely and randomly in all directions. A ball have a curved trajectory depending on which way you throw it, and it'll come back to the ground. Its relative density. Gases don't behave in exactly the same way as solids. They expand freely in all directions. They're unbonded. That's not how gas behaves. A ball is completely bonded. Lots and lots of molecules all bonded together, making it more dense than the air that it's in. It'll come back to the ground. Well, gases don't do that. They expand to fill the volume they have available to them. So
solids.
Understanding.
Yeah, solids, liquids, and gases all behave differently. Everyone knows this. This is third grade general science. He's dead wrong, and he knows it. Let's wrap it up. Let's go with final thoughts so we can get over to Nathan's show. Arwen, quickly, please.
Quickly. Yeah, it's really going nowhere this way. I thought it was kind of funny. Rumpus's conceptualization of the thermosphere, of how it's supposed to affect the heat, because the thermosphere, in my opinion, is like one of the more fictional creations, kind of like the Van Allen radiation belt, things that were purely conjured up that have no direct reflection in reality. But yeah, it's just interesting to speculate about it from a purely presuppositional standpoint.
Yeah.
But yeah, as for a real argument, yeah, none to be had there.
Thanks, thanks, Arwen. I forgot. Rumpus, people wanted you to answer the astronauts' view on the stars. Dark, bright. They wanted your take on it.
Right, I want to go back to the aeroplane, by the way. You got it wrong. I was not talking about people in the aeroplane being affected. I was saying the aeroplane flight time would not be affected by a rotating Earth.
That's not what you said, but I don't want to go back there.
I did say that, but you didn't understand it because you didn't listen.
I don't want. No, we already know what you said. I know what you said. I wrote it down.
You didn't understand it.
Okay, listen, I'm tired of it. I wrote it down. I know what you said. It's on tape. So, let me say this again. People are interested in the hangout and in the audience on what your take is with the astronauts and their contradictory claims. Now, if you go back to that stupid plane, I'm not gonna kick you. I'll just mute you and then we'll end the show. Okay? We want to know what you think about the astronauts and their views of space.
The flight time of an airplane would not be affected by a spinning.
Goodbye.
Sorry, going to point out that you predicted that if this ever came up with a BALLBUSTERS light rumpus, what they would do is avoid the question.
Yes.
I want to point out that your prediction was absolutely correct. He has definitely avoided this question in regards to the double speak nonsense of astronauts. I want you to give him one last attempt. I'll phrase it to him, see if he can do it. Are you a coward? Don't you want to answer about the double speaking contradictory rhetoric of the actonauts? Rumpus, you've avoided it twice. Are you a coward? Don't you want to answer? See if that works.
I'll answer that if you'll answer the question about the balls and molecule equivalents.
Oh, that's an obfuscation. Stick him on mute. That's the third time. We'll give him fourth attempt. We don't want to talk about the airplanes. The audience specifically, I was more than happy to send people to my show, but I'm happy to stay here now. See if on 4 separate occasions this coward refuses, by way of obfuscation, to justify the double-speak rhetoric of actonauts who haven't been to a second law of thermodynamics violation sky vacuum and therefore lie about what the stars do. Will he address it or not? Fourth time's a charm. Let's see if he says he must answer some of the question. Go, Rumpus, go.
You censored my response about molecules and balls. So that's what I'm going to finish talking about. And then...
No, you're not. You're done.
What time's a charm? Let it be known, audience, they're definitely scared to answer this question. So I would say ask them indefinitely. Ask them why they're contradicting themselves. If space is real and the sky vacuum doesn't work and the second law of thermodynamics doesn't apply, and we all beg the question of space, why would they contradict themselves about what the stars do? I think this is a very pertinent question after all. I take it all back, Quantum Eraser. Maybe worthwhile once in a while.
Thank you. Once in a while to bring it up. It's okay.
Yay.
Appreciate it, man. We'll get out of here real quick. We're going to go ahead and finish up real quick. Chocolate.
No, I'm good, man. Rest in peace to the globe. Nonsensical bullshit.
Thank you, sir.
Great presentation.
Thanks, man.
Yep.
Jose Mesa.
Do you mind if I plug something in real quick?
No, go ahead. That's the point.
So obviously we got the 24/7 Florida Discord that's running 24/7 live. If you guys ever want to join and have a conversation, join there. We also started once a week. We have a ladies' night. So this is more for Betty. Betty, if you'd like to join us, we have a day of the week where we let the women just flat smack the shit out of the Globers. You're free to join.
Yeah, thank you. Last time was in the middle of the night for me, so I might be asleep. So yeah, good to know.
And we have. Go ahead, Nathan. You had something?
I'm just waiting to the end to plug my show again. Just that was all I'm waiting for.
Okay, yeah, we're coming right at you. Betty, any final admin?
Yeah, just one came in now, and it's from Rakia Live, and it says, "Did I mention my sister said Hossein JG was biased and gets paid to have members kick panel members?"
First-hand experience.
I'll talk to Rakia about his sister. Thanks, Dave. I appreciate that. Final thoughts, Betty, on from you?
For the astronauts or whatever?
Yeah, for the astronauts or whatever, the melting temps, astronauts, anything you want to add before I let Nathan take us home?
Yeah. Well, I remember that you talked about the sun on Robert Bassano's, so it was a long time that you already talked about the situation where the ISS would have been if there was a vacuum of space where you could go to.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it was just a pile on the other things that I already did know that was wrong about the globe and the Earth should be flat. So, but I'd like you to bring up that from time to time because people forget these older arguments. It's always good to if you aren't well to discuss these arguments, that you can also on their level also destroy them by these kinds of things. So that's why once in a while it's good to sort of back the question with them and destroy them on their own turf, basically.
Yeah, I totally agree. So does Nathan.
And it's enjoyable from time to time. We know that we have the better arguments anyway, right?
Yeah,
So sometimes we need to sort of like go on their side and battle them on their side and see what happens.
I couldn't agree more. Well, thank you, Betty. Nathan, take us home, sir.
Understand everything that's been presented here. It's a good guide to understanding how not to get duped into justifying claims that aren't yours or that you haven't made. Understand, most importantly of all, that outer space is fake. Can't have gas pressure here without containment. And if the sky is a vacuum, the gas is going to fill that space. So just understand that you can cut the legs off any argument that's going to come from a region that doesn't exist by going saying, where were those cameras? What area exactly? Etc., etc. But yeah, be here or be sphere for brand new Flat Earth Debate Uncut and After Show, which is premiering now right over on the Nathan Oakley channel. So I'll spam the link in the chat if you're watching this live on the Quantum Eraser channel. Thank you very much indeed to all the panel members. Thank you very much indeed to Quantum Eraser for having me. And I'm sure you'll round out with the last few words.
Appreciate it, sir. Yep. Yep. And that thanks goes out to the beautiful Betty Van Velsen for running things here. Thanks to all the Ballbuster panel and all the guests, too. I mean, there was some really good information that they put out. Take these ball killers and give it to everyone you know. They're really easy, and you can hammer away at them because the ball stops here. And we weren't going to let you just walk on out of here. Take no prisoners. No quarter will be asked. None shall be given. And remember, I'll be back.